American Express has got a tracking number for returned cards. And so you go onto the UPS website and you put in that number and you hit search. And all these American Express cards that are being returned are on this list. Now, American Express was the only credit card that came activated right out of the mail. I was born in Redlands, California. Mom and dad were together till I was about 4. And dad took off, and so mom remarried when I was about 5. And then we moved to Banning, California. I don't know if you know where the dinosaurs out here in Southern California are at. The big dinosaurs off I-10.
Mm.
Well, have you ever been to California?
Yeah, but I didn't see any dinosaurs.
Well, if you've seen one, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, that's where I live. And
You're saying that's where they find them buried?
No, there's like 2 gigantic dinosaurs that are made out of cement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like right out of Palm Springs, between Palm Springs and Banning. It's in the desert where the windmills are at. Maybe you see the windmills out here. Anyway, so we moved back to Banning until I was about 4th grade. Then I moved back to Palm Springs with my grandparents for 2 years. I had some friends over there, and we used to go exploring. So 5th grade holiday, you're not that old, And what we do is we go out and steal shit, Long story short, I moved back when I was 6th grade. Got adopted by my mom's husband, so I changed my name to Cardona. And that was 6th grade. Lived there most of my life in Banning till like 4 years ago. Now I moved back to Redlands, where I was born. But in that time in Banning, Banning is it's a town of about 50,000 people. And there's a town next to it called Beaumont, which has got about 70,000 people. And they're right next to each other. So I went to Banning High School for a little bit. Then I went to Beaumont High School for a little bit. So I knew a lot of people around here. So, anyways, my first time I got arrested, I used to trim trees out of power lines for numbers of years. I worked for all the world's largest, 2nd largest, 3rd largest. And anyways, we got drunk one night and it's got to be some money. And I said, fuck that. I'm going to get my money. It was like $10, something stupid. And I knew the guy was staying in the motel room. So we had like 2 bottles of tequila and we were in my Dodge Dart. And we parked at the Dairy Queen next door right there on 8th Street in Banning. Some ragged ass motel room. Can't even remember what it's called. I think it was called the Peach Tree. It's not there no more. Anyways, so I had a big marine knife, and we staggered over there and I kicked the door open. And what was shocking is I didn't know the guy had his little kids there with him. There was like 3 little kids there and they were just all getting out of the shower and they're all in towels. And he opened the door. I was like, I didn't know what to do for a second. I like froze. I said, where's my money? And he did one of these numbers. It just like took off running. Left his old lady and the kids there. And so this guy was like a track star, man. He was like gone. I tried running after him. I had my work boots on. I had no way I was going to catch him. So I said, fuck this. So me and my friend went back to my car right next door at the Dairy Queen. And we're sitting there talking about it. And all of a sudden the cops roll up on us. And, and one of the cops lived right down the street from me. We used to go water skiing with him with my family. So we knew him pretty good,
Right.
And the other cop, I ain't going to mention their names. That's the name, but I used to sell speed to him right into through the police car. He used to come over in the uniform and buy speed off me, and yeah. And yeah, that was really weird. Especially, I used to play tricks on friends. Like I knew he'd come over. I knew he's coming over in his uniform, and some friends would be at my house, and wait till you see one of my buyers. And when they walked in, you see the look on their face, like, hey, what's going on? I said, don't worry, he's cool. Okay. And so I'd have it on the table for me. He'd just grab it and leave the money, then take off. But it used to freak people out. Anyway.
So did they pull their weapons on you, or?
Oh yeah, they took us to jail. Yeah, they took us to jail. And it was in the first time I made the newspaper. It said Banning cops nab knife bandits, and I had my name there. And so this town has one that has a newspaper. It's 5 pages big. Every time it's like Monday through Friday, it's only 5 pages big. That's how small this town. And it was right there on the cover. And so that morning or afternoon, next morning, everybody was calling my mom because I was living with my mom at the time. And I was probably like around 22 at the time. And what happened? What happened? What happened? She goes, I don't know. He's in jail still. So anyways, they tried to get us to snitch on each other. That was his idea, Horst's idea. And so I told my friend Tony Netherly from Kentucky, I said, don't worry, man. I think we're going to get out of this because I think that guy kept running. He ran straight out of the state, which he did because we pleaded not guilty. They needed to get the witness there. And they couldn't find him. So, he never reappeared. So,
hey, this is Matt Cox. I'm putting out a credit course. I'm going to create this course in order to help you legally build your credit so that you can have as much borrowing capacity as is legally possible. If you're interested in the course, go to the description box, click on the link, put in your email address. You will be sent 2 letters. These are letters that I've personally used to help get rid of collections on people's credit. And you will also be notified when the course comes out.
Did you get out on bond or no?
No, they released us. They released us. Yeah.
No, I'm saying. So the witness was supposed to show up for the charges, or did you go to trial?
No, I went to trial. Yeah, I went to trial. It seems to me like I didn't bail out. I cannot remember. Maybe I did. It's been so long ago, to tell you the truth. But yeah, but all I know is that we were already out of jail, so we must have bonded out because we went to court in suits. Yeah, so we had to have bonded out. That I remember now. Yeah. Anyway, so the guy never showed up, and so they dismissed it. So that was my first thing, and then the second time I made the newspaper, I made a headline, front page, top section that said meth lab found in Banning, and they had a picture of my house with all with a tarp in the front there and all my lab equipment. And it really wasn't a lot of lab equipment there. All I had was one flask. That's it. I actually had my lab somewhere else, and so they got lucky is what happened.
Well, how did that come about? How did you end up getting to that point?
Well,
so after the attempted knife home invasion.
Yeah, that was about 22 at the time. And then so I fast forward, started trimming trees for a few people. Then when I was about 25, 26, I lost my job. No, about 27. Lost my job. I'll take it back. 27, I got with a girl named Barbara. Started buying a house. Still had a job. Was doing good. Wasn't selling no drugs, and I was getting high still. But then I lost my job, and so I used to drink, and I couldn't afford to drink no more, so I quit drinking. And then I had a custody battle with my son. I went to go pick him up. I used to pick up my son every weekend, and the electricity was off at my ex-wife's house. And I said, I can't bring my son back to a house that has no electricity, man. Just when you get your electricity back on, I'm going to have to, I'll bring him back. But until then, you have to straighten up. I can't pay your electric bill, And she only lived like 10 minutes from me in the next town, cabs on. So I kept my son for a number of years, This was like.
She never got the electric turned back on?
Well, she moved out of state after that. She moved to Idaho, where she's from.
Right.
So, that was really our only option, That's when she was pregnant. She got pregnant by another guy, and they decided to move out of state, And so that's fine. I had my son, and that was in 94. It had to be 94. And he was like 4 years old at the time. Wasn't even in school yet. So I got him off to clean kindergarten, and then I started selling drugs, while he was there, but because that's the only thing I could really do at the time, Why now I think about it, really wasn't, but because the economy at that time was really pretty bad, There wasn't a lot of work, or maybe I was just being choosy, probably, a little,
Right.
And so, anyways, but drugs was just such an easier way to do things, And it's because I had a guy, so I started selling drugs, 95, around 95, 96, and around 96, I started cooking, and just small things, and no one knew I was doing it. There was only 2 people I knew. My old lady didn't even know I was doing it, and because I was doing it with a friend of mine in a different town, and so I was like having all this money. I had all this money, buying cars. Didn't really flaunt it too much, but the mortgage was getting paid, and my mortgage at the time in 96, 95 was 94. Was, believe it or not, $300 for buying a house.
Right.
That's like unheard of. And how I swung that was I my girlfriend's grandparents say, hey, you know, so you guys plan on being together forever? I want to marry your daughter. You know, I was lying at the time, of course. I didn't want to marry her. I was just, I'll just tell them what they want to hear, you know. And so they said, well, we'll buy you a house and you could just pay us back so you don't have to pay the interest. You know, because it was only $70,000 for my 2-bedroom house, 1 bath. And I said, yeah, that's something sweet deal. I said, what would the payments be? She goes, well, we'll let you know. And so they bought the house like 2 weeks after like I got with this girl. They bought a house. And I was like, man, I hit the jackpot, you know. And so that's the house where I got busted. And so, anyways, they told us, can you afford $300 a month? Like, hell yeah, you know. And then like 2 months later, I lost my job, you know.
Right.
And they're like, oh my God, are you going to be able to still do this? Yeah, I'll still swing it, you know. And so I started, you know, selling drugs, you know. And there was times I didn't pay rent for like 3 months, $900, and then all of a sudden I made a big deal. Like I used to sell pounds to this guy for $6,500, and this is one of my stuff was someone else's, and I'd go to a different town and pick it up for $5,500 for a pound. So it took me like 2 hours. I made $1,000, you know, on one deal. So that was like 3 months of rent right there. And I used to do this probably 3 times a week,
right?
You know, and so $3,000 a week just on that. And I was slinging, and then the guy would kick me down like a couple ounces. So, you know, it was like hand over fist right there. You know, I had all kinds of cash, and really no problems. And then 97.
Were you doing drugs at the time?
Oh, absolutely. I was smoking my brains out, man, all the time, just smoking it. Yeah. You know, just get high. You know, like my place was the hot spot. You know, all my friends come over, want to get high, and you know, you know, like a lot of them were like relatives. They come over and get it from me. And, you know, I was probably the biggest connection in the area for a while, you know. And I always made it a point that there's always quality with me. You know, it always had to be good. And I would not sell anything that wasn't any good. But I did have a container. It was called Super B. And you used to be able to buy this stuff. Remember, it's Super B. You used to be able to buy it at the head shops, you know, the smoke shops, whatever. 1,000 kilograms. Jar about to say, yeah, big. And what it is, it's pure cut, is what it is. It's pure cut. And let me tell you, this stuff, you can get it, put it in a pipe. You could light it up, melt it. Just look at it, it melted like speed. It even tasted like speed. And it wouldn't choke you. And it was just a synthetic, commercial, non-high methamphetamine is what it was. They mixed it with speed to make it, you know, make more amounts. So there was some non-desirable people that I didn't want coming over. There were blowets, you know, like that could have got me busted, or I just didn't like them, you know, because they come over for a front. So, you want a front? Oh, I got the front stuff right here. Here, go ahead, man. $50. You just pay me back whenever. Pay me back tomorrow, and they never come back.
Right.
You know? Well, this one guy,
and then you don't have to see him anymore.
Yeah, it's just, and I mean, it's something that only cost me, I think that 1,000 kilograms. A friend of mine gave it to me I gave him a T-shirt for it. I think it was something stupid, you know. He goes, yeah. He goes, I cut this stuff. I never even heard of it. He goes, what the hell is this? And I researched it a little bit, found out what it was. Oh yeah, check it out. Anyways, so yeah, I gave it to this one guy, and I said, yeah, you'll be $50. He goes, all right, man. He's over the next thing. Man, you got any more of that? Oh, you're kidding me, man. Did you like it? He goes, yeah, it was good. Really? Yeah. But man, where's my $50 at? Oh, bro, can I get you that after this one? Oh, you're kidding me, man. you know, that's how it is. That, you know, once it's got its paws in you, you don't even realize you're not getting high.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's totally psychological. Even to like, look, I cleaned up 3 months ago. 3 months ago, I've been getting high for 40 years. The reason I cleaned up because I told you what my medical diagnosis gone yet.
Right. When
they told me that, I said, and I smoked cigarettes for 40 years. And so I said, well, today's the day I quit, you know, and I haven't done it since. For 4 months now. I've been clean. I've never been clean for 4 months my whole freaking life, except for the times when I was in prison. And even in there, sometimes, like I was in Chuckawalla for 8 months, and a friend of mine got an ounce snuck in, which is really kind of stupid. You don't want to get a bunch of horny guys with methamphetamine in prison because like some weird shit goes on in there, man. You know what I'm saying? I could get into details on that. Some people got beat up because they got a little too weird, if you know what I mean. I mean, like, well, what's the big problem here? I mean, who's going to care if I suck your dick? Well, okay. Yeah, just like that. And so the guy that was, sucking his dick, I remember the day before that, he was asking for a drink of my coffee out of my coffee cup. And so that kind of pissed me off. Those lips were going to be on some guy's dick. And you know what I mean? Or maybe it was prior.
So when you started selling, like you're selling,
yeah.
Did you ever, I mean, how long did that go on? Were there any close calls? Were there any issues?
No, not at all. Not at all. There was, the only close call I had was actually in Redlands. I went to a friend's house and he was actually getting raided at the time. And I walked out and I seen his mother-in-law and his girlfriend's daughter out in the front of they live in these real nice condos right there. They actually live in Loma Linda. And been there many times. And I had a 16th in my jacket right here. I had 16th in each pocket and a 16th in each sock. And, thought maybe I was trying to make a quick sale. At that time, those were like $100. So that was like $400 I had on me. I thought maybe I'd make a quick deal. Anyways, I seen the mother-in-law. She turned. I said, "Hey, where's the just go? And when I pulled up to the parking lot, I noticed someone was in a car, like looking through something. And he didn't even turn around when I walked by him. Didn't look at me or nothing. I just like looking at him. Who that guy is, And it was a cop. And so when the mother-in-law goes, "Hey, just go." So I turned around. He was right there in front of my face. I'm like, and I started to reach for don't reach for your pockets. Don't reach for your pockets. Keep your hands out of your pockets. I'm like, oh, come on over here. And she got me and took me inside. There's my friends handcuffed. Like 20 cops in this condo, And he was batching in there, So anyways, they took us to jail. And so they found the drugs on me. So they're trying to get me for sneaking drugs into the jail, but that never stuck. And in my leather jacket, I had a big rock that I put like on my whole pocket. My pocket had a hole in it. So it fell into my jacket and they never found it. And so we're sitting there, me and my friend, and I'm like, man, this sucks. We're probably going to be in here a while, because he was getting busted for manufacturing. And he actually I think he got like 18 years. Okay.
So he was definitely going to be in there for a while.
Well, trip out on this. He, his mom, bless his mom's heart. She, very religious person. He's a religious person too. He was just preaching to me the other day. How I need to, really just do God, the God thing, And I appreciate it very much for it. But, we're in there. Anyways, his mother and his mother's friends, priests, clergymen, just 1,000 people who, I don't know how many, they all wrote letters to the judge and say, hey, why do you want to give this young man 18 years, when they're only handing out 3-year sentences? I think it was 18 or 15. It was like something ridiculous. And so he ended up getting probation. He ended up getting probation, but he had a drug test every day for like a year. Every year he had a drug test, 365 drug tests. Saturday, Sunday, it didn't matter. He had a drug test. And so that was the only way he got his sentence dismissed. Yeah, lucky him. So anyways, I had this big rock back in jail, and I said, well, we're going upriver anyway. So I broke this rock. It was about that big, and broke it in half. And I said, you just ate it. Yes. Anyways, the charges didn't stick on me, and of course, I told you his story. They released me because they figured they had the big dog anyway. Because they were just going to ask me, hey, well, who's the big guy? Well, they already had the big guy. So they just didn't care about me, and they dismissed my charges. And there was no word thinking that I snitched him out because I walked right into it, and he was already busted anyway.
Right.
But we found out who did snitch him off anyway. So that's another story. But yeah, anyways. So anyways, I got busted, and that was in 96. I got busted in 97. 97, February 97. I come home one day, and this girl I know was there, my girlfriend at the time, and this other girl I didn't know. And my girlfriend said, hey, honey, this friends here wants to do funny stuff. And right there, I was kind of like, I don't know about this, I don't know her. And what happened is I broke my own rules. I sold to someone I didn't know. But I trusted the girl. I trusted her. Of course, it was like my old lady's, and I knew her too. And so I just like trusted their word, And so I sold her some. And then about 3 days later, I got raided, And in the morning, my son was up and watching TV, and of course they didn't knock or nothing, but they cracked. I had a security door, and they pried it open, and I kicked the door in. My son was right there. It just traumatized the shit out of him. He's 8 years old at the time. So they busted in my bedroom door, and I just got out of bed I'm there in my underwear, and I'm like, hold it right there. And I got these guns pointed, like, oh, okay, you got me. Get out of the boy. So anyways, they put me in the living room. Old lady didn't have no clothes on. And she goes, I'm naked. She said, well, put your clothes on. And I said, hey, man, fucking have some respect there. So they just threw me in there and shut the fuck up, whatever. So they let her get dressed under the blankets. And then she goes, what's going on here? And of course, she was like almost playing the part to where they almost didn't believe her, but she didn't know, And I said, don't worry about it. And then all of a sudden the cop goes, oh, we got a lab back here in my garage. And, I always locked my garage door from the inside. I had it locked real high so my son would not get in there and fuck with
Right.
I always made that a point. And we had a lock on the inside. That way he wouldn't walk in on us and getting high also. He'd always have to knock on the door, and then we put our stuff away, blow out the smoke, So, but anyways, that was the first real bad charge. Was child endangerment, because I did have a flask there, but it was locked. So, and then I had some muriatic acid in a jar for a gasser, because I don't know if you know anything about manufacturing, but when you got your solution, we'll call it, you got to gas it, and you get muriatic acid and aluminum. I don't know if you ever put those two things together. It creates hydriodic acid, and you get it through a tube that's preferably high heat, and you bubble it in the solution. And when you bubble it, it makes like these clouds, and that's your methamphetamine.
Right.
So anyways, I have we called it my gasser in the backyard. It was cleaned out, but they said that the cops of the kid would they figured the kid could have got to it. Well, you couldn't because the doors were locked. You know what I mean? I always make sure
right.
of that. But they still stuck with me with and then my old lady sold weed on the side, for why I don't know, but and so they asked, is there anything else in the house we need? I said, nope. Well, they brought the dog in, and they found the marijuana. Oh, you lied to us. What about this weed? I said, I forgot about that, man. It wasn't even mine. I was going to jail anyway, so I just took the rap from my old lady.
Right.
Why let her go to jail? I said, yeah, I forgot about that weed. So got so much going on. And so she was happy. She didn't have to go to jail, so it was a good thing. But here comes CPS, if they call it out here, which is Child Protection Services, and took my son away. And that was probably the worst thing that's ever happened in my life. Because the first thing she told him is, you know what's going on here? And this is an 8-year-old. He goes, no, your dad's going to jail for making drugs. You know that? He's like, and I guess he got real quick because I read the report, and he just got real quiet and kind of cried, because he asked me before, Dad, do you do drugs? I said, who told you that? Well, the neighborhood kids think that you do drugs because you don't work. They were closing in on me,
Right.
I didn't work. I didn't have to work. I had I had cars, I had money. The kid had everything he wanted. I spoiled the shit out of him, and we didn't starve. Bills were paid, and that's just the way it was. That's how I survived, And so I went to court and in county jail, and this guy's looking at the paper, and he goes, "Hey, is your name Frank?" I'm like, yeah. Is this you? And there I was, man. There's a picture of my house, big old picture, and I made headlines, I made I think 3 different newspapers on that one, the Press Enterprise and Sun Telegram, and but not as big as the Record Gazette. Everybody knew that. You know what I mean? And so I go to prison and they wanted to give me 5 years, but they gave me 3. And out here, in reality, that's only, you only do half of that.
Right.
So half of that, so it was 18 months I did, And still a long time. I never even did 2 days in jail before, I think, or 3 days, And so anyways, went to prison and, went to county and did my thing. And like I mentioned before, I got sent to Corcoran. And at that time, Corcoran was in the news for the guards shooting inmates. What they would do is they would put 2 known bona fide enemies into a courtyard, and they let them fight out.
Right.
And they would shoot the winner. They would shoot the winner.
So he couldn't say what had happened?
Just that's what they did. That's how dirty they were. They would shoot the winner. And so they were doing this for quite a while. They were taking bets. Okay, I'm $100 on the South Sider. Oh, I'll take that bet. I bet you the Northerner will win, you know. And so that's what they did that. And so I get to Corcoran, and when I actually got to the 1 yard, which is minimum yard, I seen it on the news. I seen the CO that was just in the other yard. There he was, and he used to be a football player for the San Diego Chargers. He's a big old white guy, you know, like blonde hair, blue eye, looked like a German Nazi guy, you know.
Right.
And there he was on the deck, put his hand up, you know, swearing. Anyways, I said, "Oh my God, that's Cisco," you know, just something like Cisco or something like that. I can't remember the name. But anyways, yeah, he ended up coming back to work. He was on level 1 yard for a while, but let me tell you, when I first got to Corcoran, you know, I'm scared shitless. I'm gonna lie, I was scared. You know what I mean? I like, because I didn't know what was going to go on. You know, I've heard everybody hears these stories.
Yeah.
And, so the first time they lock you up with the South Side, and I ran the South Side, and that's when the guy goes, "Hey, homie," this guy was like a gang member from LA, you know, tattooed down. He had shit on his face, you know. And I was just scared being with that guy, you know, in a cell, but I knew, you know, I didn't know, you know.
All right.
I felt like saying, "Damn, dude, what'd you do that for your face for?"
Right.
You know, I just couldn't. It was just shocking to me, you know. And whoa, what happened?
What?
Okay, there you go. Anyways, he goes, "Hey, homie, you might need one of these." And so he pulls the covers back, and there's 3 shanks. And the only thing I can describe them is they were welding rods. They were welding rods, you know. They were welding rods, and like broken in half. So they're really only about so long, and with like, you know, a bunch of sheet on the end, just enough so you won't hurt yourself. And I'm like, "Oh, I guess I'll take that one," you know. And I'm like, I said, "I'm really tired, homeboy. I'm gonna go sleep." And I'm laying in my bed going, "Oh, fuck, man, why? You know, why did I do this? You know, why did I do this to me? You know." So, anyways, they moved him the next day, and so I don't know if I didn't even look under his bed or nothing, but I got mine, took the sheeting off, and there's like these little vents, got like little holes in them. I just threw it down the little vent, you know, since it's like a pencil, so I just threw it down the vent and went ting 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 ting. You know? So, anyways, I was like, didn't even go out to the yard. I was there for about 3 days. I said, "All right, you're going to level 1." This was level 3 I was at. They never opened the yard there. The yard had been slammed down for a year already. Nobody's even been out of their cells for like a year. This 1 yard I was at. And so I guess before that, it opened up for like an hour, and it was slammed down a year before that. So it actually, in actuality, been slammed down for 2 years. Nobody's even been out for 2 years. And I was like, "Oh, I don't want to be here," you know. And so they moved me to level 1, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I hope this place is a lot better." And I walk, and it was like a park. It was like a city park.
Right.
They had grass. They had people lifting weights. We had weights at the time. There's like a little waterfall. There was fish in there. People were feeding these fish. People were jogging with their headsets on, you know, Walkman, shorts, you know. I'm like, "Oh, this ain't too bad." You know, I'm saying this guy, I mean, it was like a park, you know. And so it was great, you know. I went in there and did my 18 months, man. And long 18 months, and gained about 50 pounds. You know, and they actually had a thing where one day they said, "Hey, the weights have got to go because the inmates are getting too big."
Right.
They were and they were, man. People were just coming out there looking like the Hulk. You know, they're like tying 2 sets of barbells together, tying like 250, making 100-pound barbells, and then tying those on the 145s and benching them. You know, which you're not supposed to do, but you know, there's a lot of things that you're not supposed to do. You know.
Right.
And then after that, you know, they closed the yard, and that's, I mentioned to you before. You know, heroin's the big thing in there in California. I don't know how it is over there where you were at, but heroin's a big thing in there. Like I'm not even exaggerating. Probably 75% of the people that use heroin on a daily basis. You know, and so my bunk was kind of like hidden out of the way. And actually, this was in Chino. I take that back. This was after I got out of Corcoran. I was in Chino, and so anyways, you know, after shower, whenever, you know, the heroin would hit. And so there would be a long line, like 20 people in that line waiting for that hit. Went to shoot some heroin in their arm. All of them using the same needle. Granted, they do got a little bit of bleach right there. They'll clean it out each time, but come on,
Right.
That don't fly, man.
Right.
I mean, that's Russian roulette, if you ask me. After I got out of Corcoran, I stayed out for a year, and I didn't learn my lesson enough, and I got a possession. Went back to Corcoran for another year. They gave me 2 years on that sentence, and I'll never forget that. Cop at the gate goes, "Oh, welcome back, Cardona." I'm like, "Oh, fuck, how do you remember me?" It was just like, "Oh, he remembers my name," But he seen my name and probably remembered it.
Right.
And he probably seen that I was there before, but Anyway, so did that and got out, and I was on parole. Went to my mom's house. Right now, I'm at my mom's house right now. I actually live in Redlands. My mom is in Banning. And so anyways, I get out and I started getting high right away. You know what I mean? I just was getting high. It was all healthy and stuff. And it was like the best thing, getting high. And so I gave him a dirty test. My parole says, "Hey, you have to go do a treatment, do a, rehab, or else you're going back." So, all right. So I went to rehab. That did not work for me. And she goes, "Well, you're going back to prison." I said, "Yeah." And so I was on the run. And they caught up with me. I did my first violation 7 months later after I got out. So I'm in Chino, and, I see like probably 30, 40 of my homeboys are in there from my area, like, "Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, you need this, you need that." And my one friend, Victor Andrade, he's a casino owner. You know how the Indian thing goes out, how some of the Indians own casinos out here?
Yeah.
They get that per cap. So he was like the richest guy in there, He's like, "Hey, man, you need tobacco? I'll hook you up." So he did. He goes, "Hey, you want to stay here?" I'm like, yeah, I'll get you a good job and everything. All right. So he got me in there, and I was a permanent worker there. And, I don't believe in religion, or, I'm not very religious. Let's put it that way.
Right.
I believe in everything I see, touch, feel. That's my God. Like this table's my God. This watch is my God. Everything I know is real. That's my God. But anyways, I'm there, and so I'm chapel clerk. Okay. I'm like, "Oh my God, the lightning bolt's going to hit this chapel," So I'm there, and there was the chaplain's office. Chaplain's office was right next to mine, and one day the door was open. I seen a friend of mine in there, like, eating a roast beef sandwich. I'm like, "Yo, hello, you guys are kind of," because yeah, I'll talk to you there, Frank. "Yeah, the chaplain's in." Because, "Yeah, Frank." So I shut the door. "Yeah, that roast beef sandwich looked good." He was eating, And so the next day, my friend goes, "Hey, man, how would you like a piece of that action?" I said, "Hey, what do I got to do?" I don't want to. And the guy was always asking, he goes, "I'm going to show you a hustle." He goes, "What you do is, every time a free staff comes in here for like a Protestant or Jehovah's Witness, just have them unlock that door right there."
What's a free staff?
Free staff is like, well, when they have like someone from the outside.
Right. Somebody who's not an officer or doesn't work for the state. They're just like volunteers. A subcontractor. Oh,
yeah, volunteer. Yeah. Like it's like they come and do sermons, whatever they have, and just all volunteers. And they got all the keys.
Right.
And so I'm like, "Hey," and I knew him pretty good by now. I said, "Hey, whoever her name was, there is some literature I need to get out of this office. Can you unlock it and lock it after you leave?" "Oh yeah." And they never remembered to lock it back up. And so on that side was a phone. All you had to do is push 9, and I had a direct line out.
Right.
And so I was selling those all days for jars of coffee now. I had so much coffee in there. And anyways, so one day, one of my friends that I lived with over there goes, "Hey, I need to use your phone." I said, and people that were in my dorm, I'd let people use it for free, But all the other ones, jars of coffee. I said, "All right, so what's the number?" He goes, "No, I'll do it." I said, and I never let no one do it. So the guy's got the phone up to his ear, and he's looking for the number. And I didn't know this till that day. If you take the phone off the hook and you don't push no buttons for like 20 seconds, it's like making a 911 call to the tower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I didn't know that. He didn't know that, but he said he was on it, went beep, 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 beep. He's like, so he hung up, and he come out there and I said, "Hey, well, that was fast." He goes, "Oh, nobody was home. Didn't tell me about the alarm, And he didn't know what it was either. He just it freaked him out, So I said, "Well, stay here and keep pointing. I need to make a call." I said, "All right." And so the door was next to these 2 cabinets that had doors. So I would open the door. So it kind of like blocked the door if it was open. And these cabinets had like Bibles in them and stuff, so it kind of like blocked. And so I picked up the phone and I was talking. I started calling someone. All of a sudden I hear, and I had the door just cracked open like that. And I hear cops say, "Where's extension 3747?" And my friend goes, I don't know. Aren't you the chaplain? Clear out. So I hang up and I opened the door real quietly and I closed it. I opened up the cabinet doors and the cop was like, right, I could touch him. That's how close he was, you know? And I grabbed the book off the shelf. I said, "What's going on, officers?" "Yeah, where's extension 376? I said, "Oh, isn't it that one right there?" He goes, "No. Is it in there?" I said, I don't know. That door's locked." "Oh, you got the key? Well, go get the keys with that door." "Oh, okay." You know, so they didn't check the door, you know. They didn't even know I came out of that office.
Right.
So, man, my heart's like, oh, you know. And the guy that just used the phone sitting there like, he just like, his words said it all. Like, "Man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry," you know. So, you know, anyways, after that happened, my friend goes, "Hey, just have my other friend goes, "Hey, about the roast beef sandwiches, can you have someone come down here and buy you some food? Like, just offer the chaplain something to eat and he'll pick it up and bring it in here." I said, "Anything?" He goes, "Anything." So I said, "All right." I didn't even check to see if I could do it. I said, "Hey, chaplain, we buy lunch tomorrow." He goes, "Well, what do you have in mind?" I said, "Well, you know, how about some Kentucky Fried Chicken? Isn't that on the way over here?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, I pass by there every day." I said, "All right." I said, what time do you pass by there?" He goes, "Oh, I pass by around noon." I said, "Okay, just stop by there. It'll be ready." He goes, "Really?" I said, yeah. "If it isn't, then you can call me a liar. But it'll be there." Okay, so he leaves. I go and call my girlfriend who lives 50 miles away and who actually is the same girl I'm with now. And this is like 20 some years ago. Yeah. And Casey, come down to Chino Boulevard and order me a bunch of Kentucky Fried Chicken and leave it under Chaplain Palmer's name. She goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, just do it." She goes, "Okay." So she drove out there and called back a couple hours later. "Hey, did you do it?" She goes, "Yeah, I told him exactly what you said. Have it ready for noon tomorrow." I said, perfect, you know. So noon comes around next day, you know, and you know, the chapel had a door with a glass in it, and me and my friend were sitting there like two dogs waiting for their owner to come home, you know. And here he comes. I come through the Sally Port there, and I see the cop go, "Hey," I can almost read his lips, like, "These aren't for inmates, are they?" And the chaplain's like, "Do you think I would do that?" Because he told us what he said. He goes, "Come on, I'm the chaplain. Do you think I would actually do that?" "I didn't think so, chaplain. Go right ahead." You didn't lie to him. You know,
right.
You didn't lie to him. You know, chaplain.
That's the question.
Lie. Yeah, that's right. Question with a question. So he's coming in like, and Chino's got about 5 or 6 buildings on each side. There's, you know, they got different names: Mariposa, Otay, Cleveland. I can't remember the names, but they're all like, they got like grills. So like, you know, a lot of people just hang out there just like to get air, and just like if someone's walking by, "Hey, can you give me a pencil? You got a sandwich?" You know, they always bugging somebody, you know, because they ain't got nothing, you know.
Right.
And so the chaplain's walking by with 2 bags of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they're like, "Oh, chaplain, let me get a piece, let me get a leg," you know. And he's just like shaking his head until he makes and he's like, "Oh, I felt like I was going to get mugged right now. It's a good thing that the animals were locked up." I said, "Yeah, man." So the only thing he ate was a biscuit. You know, that's all he ate. We said a little prayer, you know, and he goes, "Well, you know, I can't stay, fellas. I got an appointment, you know." "But no problem." He goes, "But just don't get caught with that." "No problem. But, you know, let us walk with you back to the Sally Port first." So we already had some boxes ready, empty Bible boxes, and, you know, we filled up the boxes. Kentucky Fried Chicken. We put Bibles on top of them, just in case they looked inside. But if they looked inside, they would have smelt it.
Right.
So we're walking with the chaplain, and right before, and ours was Angelus Hall, and there's the Sally Port, and they say, "Chaplain Palmer, I know I've never asked you for this before, but can you bless us before we go back inside here?" "Well, yeah." He says, "Father," and he blesses us, and the cop's watching you, because I thought that cop was going to say, "Let me look at those boxes," you know.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, thank you, Father. God bless you." You know, I even like shed a little tear and everything, you know. That's you know? And so we get in there, it's hamburger day. And I don't know how it was where you're at, but hamburger day is like, you never miss hamburger day.
No, Wednesday,
Yeah.
hamburger and French fries.
Yeah. I can't remember what day it was, but it's always the same day. And yeah, you just don't miss it. And it was hamburger day. And I told my friend, I said, so man, you're not going to dinner. I'm going to get you. They're like, man, we don't want no top ramen spread. You know, I said, no, it's nothing like that. You'll love it. I guarantee it. So I think I picked 3 friends, plus my friend that turned me on to the turn on there. I just kicked back. So I waited for everybody to get called down out, and I slid that box from under my bed, and I took those Bibles off. I said, dinner is served. And oh my God, where did you get there? It was the best, man. It was just like, I said, don't worry about it. We got like 10, 15 minutes. Eat it all and help me get rid of the evidence. So everything that said Kentucky Fried Chicken, we tore up into little pieces and flushed it. You know, it just had to, you know. You don't want anybody seeing that in the trash.
I know. The cops, they go nuts.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, plus I didn't want to get the chaplain. That was so cool of him, you know. And so after that happened, I probably got out maybe about 2 months after that. And, you know, being the chapel clerk I had a lot of good rewards with it. You know, it made me a little bit of a better person. It made me open up to what religion is all about. I don't know if you're a religious kind of person. I don't knock religion. I mean, don't get me wrong. People need religion in their life. They really do. I feel I don't. Maybe I do. I could be wrong, but I just learned a lot about all of them. All of them. You know, it's quite interesting. It just sends the same message. You know, try to make yourself a better person and believe to have faith. Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, so I get out. Really funny. I get out, and you know, all the calls that I made were recorded from that phone. And so when I got out, I did another violation. They sent me back to Chino, and the chaplain used to give people phone calls all the time. You had to have a good reason, like, oh, my wife's dying of cancer or something, right. You know. Well, right there on the window, right when I walked in, it says, no more phone calls allowed from the chaplain's office. You know, because they knew it was me. Because
right.
I thought, I wonder if they knew it was me. So, you know, I right away I got a job in the kitchen, and the cop there, he liked me a lot. He goes, man, I'm gonna see if you can. I like the way you work, man. And I like your leadership. You done. I said, well, I've only been to prison 2 times and did 1 violation. I said, no, but you got leadership in jail. So I don't know if that's a good thing, man. I don't want that title, you know. And you know, because I just made sense to some of the knuckleheads in there. I said, listen, why would you want to do that? Now you're getting us all involved. You want to fight somebody. You do mutual combat. If it's a different race, you're going to get us all involved, and then I'm not going to like you.
Right.
Oh, okay, homie. You know. So, anyways, so the cop, I said, I'm pretty sharp on stuff, but I don't think you're going to be able to do that. Because, the cop's like, I will get you here if I want you here. You'll stay here if I want you here. I said, well, I want to stay here. Yeah, keep me in the kitchen. I like food. Because that kitchen was on hit. I mean, we got to use the grill. We were making our own donuts in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not hard to do. You get very creative in prison to make shit, you know. And we were making donuts. I mean, bona fide donuts, you know. Melted the sugar, making dough, dipping in hot grease, you know. And I mean, instant donut. They were like the donut shop. But anyways, he tried to keep me there. And he goes, yeah, you know, Cardona, I've tried everything. Do you got there's some kind of flag on your file? They don't want you here. So I could never stay in Chino again because of those phone calls that I made there. You know, they never could charge me with anything, but I was like after the fact, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say there's nothing they can do once you've been released. So
yeah.
But when you come back, they're like, yeah, you'll remember you.
Yeah, they put a flag on my file. They said, he cannot stay here because he got a really good one over on us.
Right. Manipulating the system. Like he knows the system too well and he manipulated it. Their fear is always that you're going to manipulate staff or you're going to manipulate the system somehow. Or
especially when they heard the phone call about the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Right.
You know, I mean, that one just probably burnt them up. And I don't think that chaplain was there anymore after that either.
You got the chaplain fired.
Yeah. He wasn't there no more. There's some other.
That's all you, bro.
I'm not proud of that moment, but you know, I'm sure he was doing all right.
Oh, sure he bounced back.
I mean, how much were they paying him to come to that ratty ass prison
Right.
be a chaplain. I mean, he was already a chaplain on the streets. He's probably richer than he was a Protestant chaplain. Those guys are rich. The only ones that are rich are the Mormons. They're beyond rich. Have you seen the cathedral crystal and whatever the place is in Salt Lake? Oh my God, that place had to cost $1 billion, man. It's just the structure is like incredible. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not.
No.
If you ever go to Salt Lake City to see anything, go see the Crystal. What is it called? The Cathedral, Crystal Cathedral, I think it's called, for the big Mormon church there. Yeah, you don't have to be a Mormon to go look at it.
I was actually in Salt Lake City probably 3 years ago, but I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Salt Lake City. I've been there many times, because I'm a truck driver, and I love going to Salt Lake City, especially at nighttime. You go up to, I can't think of the name of the street, but it's from the Love's truck stop. And if you walk up the street, it's ghetto. It's ghetto. There's like hookers, there's drug dealers, and it's entertaining to me. I like seeing that. I just like this in a different city that I'm not from. It's very entertaining to me. And I know how to walk through it because I'm not really scared of too much, And but what was the craziest thing I seen up there? It was a Motel 6, and they actually had a gate with a chain and padlock that the guy from the office had to come to unlock it for you to drive in there. Yeah, I was like, man, this big ass chain with barbed wire on it. A Motel 6.
It's a bad neighborhood.
It was a really bad neighborhood. But then you pass that little section, and then they got really nice restaurants up there, really nice restaurants, expensive ones, I mean, I ate dinner there. It was like $50, that's expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got out.
So anyways, I get out, and
did you get your son back?
Well, when I got out in 98 from the manufacturing, my biological dad had died when I was 15. He got shot at his own birthday party in Palm Springs. For pulling his best friend out of the way. So what happened was some guys were partying with my friends. My friend was having a birthday party, and somebody invited these guys over, and they started trouble. They said, "Get the fuck out of here!" And my dad was like, he's kind of a part-time gangster, Palm Springs. And so they say, "I will be back with our guns." Well, they came back with their guns, knocked at the door, and my dad's best friend opened the door, and they had 22 rifles, and my dad grabbed him out of the way. When he did, he got shot right through the right ventricle, and he bled.
Oh.
And so I went down the next day when I was 15 years. Anyways, 15 years. So fast forward to when I got out of prison in 98. There was actual life insurance policy on him, and I inherited. It was a $5,000 one if I had cashed it out when I was 15. I didn't even know about it. But since I was 31 at the time, 32, something like that, it was $32,000. So
okay.
So that was good to have getting out of prison. I mean,
that's a game changer. That made your life a lot easier.
A lot easier. And then I got back with my girlfriend, and her grandmother had died, the one that bought us the house, and she left her $250,000. But she made it to where her mother was took care of the money for her. She only let her have so much at a time,
right?
Like $2,000 a month, or else she would have. She started going to the casino, and she would have gambled it all away. Okay. No doubt in my mind. So that was smart on the grandmother and the mother's part. Like if she wanted a car, this car is going to cost me $5,000. Okay, you can buy the car,
right?
But then like 2 months later, she'd sell it for go gamble something. I need another car. Yeah. So anyways, I get out. And so I got all this money. And so I told my professor, I moved to a different town. I wasn't supposed to, but I did anyway. And my mom's like, they're going to fucking violate you. I said, no, Mom, don't worry. And so, anyways, I didn't even call. I called my ex-wife, and I said, hey, she was in Idaho then. She already had the other kid. I said, hey, I'm going to be coming up there, pick up Jeffrey, and I'm going to fly him down here, and then just spend like a week with me, and I'm going to fly him back. She goes, well, when will this be? I said, like in the next 2 weeks. And so I had already booked the flights for me and him, the flight to go up there, and the flight to come back the next day. And so I tried calling my ex-wife, and she didn't answer the phone. Like, well, fuck her, man. I'm just going to go up there and get the kid. And so anyways, I get up there and see, how did I find him? I went to the house. Nobody was there. Tried to get a hold of my ex-wife. No one knows where she's at. I went to her boyfriend's work. That's what I did. And this taxi was driving me around. There was no Uber then. And he goes, yeah, I don't know where she's at, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I guess she got all upset because you said you were going to come here. Oh, I told her, man, I'm going to bring them back, And so anyways, I'm driving to the house. I didn't even know where they lived. And so the guy told me where they lived. So I was just going to wait for him to come home from school. And by then he was like 10 years old, 10, 11. And so I'm in the taxi and we're almost to the house and I can see him riding his bike and him and two friends riding his bike home from school.
Right.
I say, hey, there's my son. Pull over. I said, I'm going to surprise him right now. So I get out and he's right. And I pull right up ahead of him a little bit. And I jumped out and I'm looking, what's up, big boy? He's like, Dad, and he fell off his bike, gave me a hug, and I'm crying. Taxi driver's crying, it was just so great moment,
Right.
I said, what are you doing up here? I said, I'm here to take you to Disneyland. All right. So we went to his house and, my ex-wife is she's all right, but she wasn't the person for me, but let's leave it at that. So I just did, you know what? Don't take nothing with you. Just, I'll buy you new stuff, because he had there was no clean clothes there. The house was just a mess, I said, just get a jacket. Just bring a jacket, And so we get the taxi back to the airport and we're back in California a couple hours later. And so my girlfriend picked me up and, when I got busted with for manufacturing, she was the same girl. And, we went to Disneyland. He had chipped his tooth when he lived with me riding a skateboard that I gave him. So I got that fixed for him. That was like $1,000 some. His hair was a mess. Cut his hair. Got his teeth cleaned. I said, dude, you got to brush your teeth, man. I said, Dennis goes, looks like he hasn't been brushing his teeth at all. I said, man, what's wrong with you, dude? Brush your teeth, dude. And so I bought him like 20 toothbrushes, 20 toothpaste things. I just use them. That's all. Do anything, just brush your teeth. So anyways, I had to fly him back by himself. And, I finally talked to his mom and I said, oh my God, I thought you were going to keep him. I said, no, I wasn't going to keep him. I told you, I can't keep him.
Right.
I'm on parole, man. It's like, that's a recipe for disaster right now,
Right.
And so I flew him back. It was all good, and I've flown ever since. Now he's like 35 years old. And I try to fly him down there whenever I can, and I do got another son, which is kind of interesting. He's older than him. And he grew up in Mississippi, and never seen him really my whole life because of reasons. I was living my life. It was just better for him, the way because his mom remarried this preacher guy, which was a great guy. He was just, I can't compete with that at all.
Right.
There's just no way. And the guy was rich, or just not rich, but he had money. He was well taken care of. He's a hard worker. It was just, so anyways, he sent it to college. Guy got his bachelor's in music and came out here to California and asked my mom if he could live with my mom for a while. So he lived here at my mom's house, actually my mom's other house, until him and his wife, until they got things together. So he used his bachelor's degree to be the music teacher at the high school I went to. And the kid looks exactly like me. The way I scratch my face, that's how he scratches his face. The way he smiles, we smile, and I've never been around him my whole life. So anyways, he was out there at the high school where I went to high school at, and he's the band director. But he uses his last name is Finch. His name's Thomas Finch. And so everybody knows. I said, aren't you Frank Cardona's boy? And he's like, yeah, he's he's a little resentful, and I get it, But and he just did awesome down there. And I went down there 2 times just to see, hey, what's going on, Tom? Hey, what's going on? This is your office. Oh, cool, man. This is cool, man. I can't believe you're actually teaching music at this high school that I went to, which was like just astronomical. That's like the best thing that is so epic for me,
Right.
So anyways, 6 years down the road, I think I went down there twice in 6 years, I just, I don't want to complicate his life, And so I went down there one day after 6 years. Said, yeah, I'm here to see Thomas Finch. They're like, who? Yeah, Thomas Finch, because his guy who raised him just died.
Right.
And so I wanted to send my condolences. Right, about a year before that. I said, yeah. I said, Thomas Finch, the music director. Well, the music director is so-and-so. I said, so who are you? And they're like starting to question me, like they're about to call the cops. Like, whoa,
right.
Thomas Finch. And someone, oh yeah, he quit like 6 months ago. I said, what? Yeah, he quit like 6 months ago. And what happened was when his dad died, his mom's husband, she's got I think it's a trust fund that don't really ever run out. It's a pretty good one, And you see how like the skylights hit those skylights at like events, those big bright lights.
Right.
Well, they manufacture those. They're the manufacturers of those, And so they're doing pretty good. Hard work pays off, And so anyways, I guess she told him, I think, this is what I got. Come down to Oceanside, which is on the beach, and she already lives down there. And I'll buy you a house, or I'll get you, you can buy a house down here, and you can get your master's. So now he just got his master's in San Diego State College, and he's gonna start teaching college music.
Right.
So I'm pretty proud of that. I mean, someone that came from me, it's just a great thing for me. I love telling the story.
Right.
And he's got an awesome wife. I've got 2 grandbabies, Thomas and Isaiah. Noah and Isaiah, and both biblical names, because he was raised. His dad was a preacher or
right.
minister. So I can't compete with that, man. I can't. I could try. I mean, the only I can compete with that is, hey, man, I was the chapel clerk,
Right.
But yeah, man. And so, anyways, I after that, did my second violation. I did a couple more violations. One for no contact. I had a different girlfriend then, my original one, and they tried giving me 15 years one time. My third violation because I had no contact. And what happened was I gave some money to a guy, $2,000 for some pills to manufacture some dope, manufacture some meth. And so I gave it to my girlfriend, and she like gambled it or something. And so I'm like 2,000 in the hole. So anyways, I told her, I said, look, I know you got to do your PC 1000, which is drug classes. I said, I'm taking you to your PC 1000 meetings. I'm dropping you off, and I'm taking your car until you give my money.
Right.
And so I'm like, so I dropped her off, and she's a little upset about it. Why, any girl would be, And so I went to my friend's house. I felt kind of bad. So, I can't just do that to her. Well, she went in there and told them what happened, and they called the cops on me. So I went back and waited for her to get out. So I'm sitting there, and I fell asleep in the car. And I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden I hear a tap on the window. There's a cop there. Oh no! I'm like, what's going on, officer? He goes, what are you doing here? I said, well, I'm picking up my girlfriend. He goes, you sure about that? I said, yeah. Well, why would I? What else would I be doing here? I was sleeping, waiting for her to get out. That's not what I heard. What did you hear? We heard your jet, blah, blah, blah. And what happened before that, I forgot to say, is what happened is I had her in my house. And I can't even tell you this part. I had her tied up for a minute, and I was going to do something in front of her with another girl that she didn't like, just to get even with her. But the girl, matter of fact, that girl just called me right now. And but the girl chickened out and didn't do it. So I untied her. I said, I'm taking you to a PC1 class. And I was being a dick. I said, I'm taking you to a PC 1000 meeting, and I'm taking your car. And that's all there is to it.
What's a PC 1000 meeting? What's that?
It's a drug class. If you get caught with drugs, you got to do meetings or else go to jail.
Okay.
They got several. They got so many names for them out here. Drug diversion.
Right.
So, anyways, so they took me to jail, and she told them about me tying her up. They tried to get me for kidnapping. Okay.
Right.
And so the cops tell me, goes, we know the whole story. We know what we did to her, what you did to her. I say, yeah, what'd I do to her? Well, you had her like a hostage, that he's looking at the book. I said, what's that book right there? Don't you know that one by heart, officer? You'll never make detective like that. And he got really mad when I told him that. You're looking at 15 years, buddy. And I recommended that Riverside County follows up on those charges, because I was in San Bernardino County after the fact, the crime occurred in a different county. So San Bernardino County couldn't charge me with the kidnapping. And I know Riverside County, they once that happens, they're not gonna follow up on that, because then they had to ask her the interview, and I knew she would not do it. After that, she wasn't going to repeat that story to any cop that would put me away for 15 years.
Right.
Out of the question. Just just because you could imagine why, So anyways, I did 6 months for that, and I got a no contact with my girlfriend. And so anyways, never got the money back.
All that for $2,000.
All that for $2,000, man. And I was really scared. So so they call it the parole revocation thing, where they tell you what you're charged with, And so I'm there, and they said, well, the witness has not shown up today. Well, okay. I knew she wouldn't. Well, we'll try to get her here next week. I'm thinking she won't even show up. She'll be late to her home funeral, man. So anyways, next week comes around. I'm thinking, why you guys even waste your time? Is the witness here? Yes. I'm like, what? Okay. So, when you're in the same room, they got you gaffled, chained up to the ankle. And they actually had me facing the wall in the corner, like this, in the corner. They said, if you turn around, we will hurt you. Don't even look at her. I'm like, okay, no problem, man. I won't look at her. And so she comes in, I could hear her talking. And she's got to be like 5 feet away from me because the room was real small. They're like, okay, Miss Abello, so is it true that he had you held against your will? Well, no. Well, how come you said, yeah. Well,
it's already breaking down. It's already going bad.
And so he didn't have you tied up. She goes, no, nothing like that ever happened. Now, did it? And so, she told me, what I was going to do was going to have sex with a girl in front of her that she didn't like, just to get even with her. I could say that, can I?
Yeah.
And so, anyways, and so did he touch you inappropriately? I'm like, I just went, hey, that's enough out of you, man. I said, what? I sneezed. Jesus Christ. But I went like that, and so they said he didn't touch you inappropriately or have any kind of sex with you while you were tied up. She goes, I just told you I wasn't tied up. And so none of this is true. I said, no, I was just mad. I just made that all up. Oh, okay. All right, Miss Abel, you can go now. And so she left the room. I turned around in my chair. I said, let me out now, because the girl is apparently lying. What am I doing in here? This is bull, Oh, no. You still got to do a violation. You still got to do a year violation, man. Just because this happened and it didn't happen, you're still doing a year violation, which in terms out here is 6 months. You only do 50% of a year, And I was already in like 3 months already. So, that one, that was like, because I was really kind of sweating it. I really was, especially when the guy told me 15 years, because you never know if they really got a hard on for you. Any law enforcement, they will push the issue.
We never know what she's going to do either. She may come in and, it was horrible, and really play it up and be like, oh, wow.
Well, it was, and it was all secondhand story, because she told people at the PC 1000 meetings he had me tied up, and he was going to bring this girl in here, and I don't know what he's doing, this and that. Then she was crying, and she was my girlfriend. That girlfriend at the time, I called her the ghetto Paris Hilton, because she looked a lot like Paris Hilton. She was beautiful, but she just had her flaws, So, but yeah, man. And she died about 15 years ago.
Oh wow! Over overdose?
No, diabetes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was a juvenile diabetic. Had insulin, big insulin all the time. But yeah, so she. Yeah, so I get out, and I didn't want nothing to do with her after that. Who would? I was like, forget this broad. And so I'm at the casino, and with my girlfriend that I'm with now, and I see her, the girl we're talking about, Kim. She was there at the casino too, and she's like looking at me. She goes, "Can I talk to you?" I'm like, well, "What do you want? I don't want to talk to you." And she's very beautiful, man, very beautiful girl. And it's just she goes, "I miss you so much. Can I just want to bang you now?" And that's all it took, man. I just melted. I thought, okay, who you here with? My boyfriend. I said, "You're here with your boyfriend and you're hitting on me? He don't like me. This guy don't like me. You're wrong. I'm taking a chance talking to you. I know this guy. I can't compete with him." Let me tell you real quick about this guy I heard she was with. He was a big manufacturer in the Inland Empire. And, this girl we knew, wanted to buy this car of somebody. Well, this guy bought the car from under her nose, but there's just no way this girl would have been ever able to buy the car anyway. But she got mad that this guy bought this car that she wanted, that she couldn't afford. So she went and got Kim out of the house and said, yeah, Kim, you want to go shopping with me? And, she just wanted to get out of the house because she had 3 goons with guns to go kill this guy. Okay. And, which was, I don't know what they were thinking. They must have not have known him, because I would never do that to anybody. That's like a suicide mission. I don't care if you got 5 guys. This guy was he was a gun happy guy. He had lots of guns and he wasn't afraid to use them. And so these 3 guys went in there to go kill him, and he shot each one of them. One guy's got a shit in a bag for the rest of his life, and he didn't get shot once. So anyways, this is the guy that I'm worried about. You know what I mean? And he's asking all my homeboys, yeah, have you seen Frank around here? I want to talk to him. I'm like, what? That's not good. I'm like, I'm scared because I know he wants to kill me. He wants to kill me. And so, there's so many times I've been somewhere and Jim just left here. He was asking about you. I'm like, how long ago? Like 5 minutes ago. And I'm like walking outside, like maybe he's still around here. I'm scared. I'm like, legitimately, I've never been so scared of anybody in my life except for that guy. So, a couple of years later, he died from cooking too much dope. His heart had enlarged, and he had a heart attack and died. While I was with Kim still, and so I heard Jim died, and it was like a relief to me that he died.
I can imagine.
Now I'm not looking over my shoulder no more. I'm like, oh. So I had to tell Kim, I said, hey, I know you were a Jim for a long time. He treated you good. And I said, but he died today. She goes, I don't care about that guy. I said, and I knew she was lying. She was lying. I knew as soon as I left the room, she started crying. That's how she was. She was a tough cookie. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a big one right there, man. Jim Teagle was his name. Let me tell you another thing this guy did. He was with Kim. They had a Trans Am, and some guy owed him money. I don't know how much it was, but he's in his car, and he like, hey, pull over. I want my money. And the guy like, whatever, they had words. And so the guy didn't pull over. And so he ran him off the road into this fence to where he was stuck. And before he could get out, the cops were already there. And they're like, hey, what's going on here? Oh, officer, Jim goes, officer, I lost control of my car. I'm this guy. I'm sorry. I accidentally hit him. And the guy's like, no, he's lying. He wants to kill me. Officer, I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe he hit his head or something. And he got away with it. Right. The cops believed him. This is how good this guy was. And he goes, officer, and I'm gonna have to tell you, my license is suspended from child support. I do not have a license, man. So you're gonna have to do what you got to do. And they said, well, you already got 10. Driving without a license. We'll let you slide this time since you wrecked your car. This is the guy that was after me. Okay. So yeah. But so anyways, after that, so I finally, I told you my picture was in the post office for a while. It just said wanted by California Departments of Correction. And it never said why, just wanted.
What was it for?
For not reporting to my parole officer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I told you about my inheritance, right? My inheritance was made out to Frank Mercado, my birthday. Right. But when I was 6th grade, it got changed to Cardona. So I'm out on parole. I think it was probably out right out when I got out the first time. I couldn't catch that check under Cardona. So I went down. Back then it was easy. You just go down to the Department of Motor Vehicle and say, hey, I just recently changed my name like 20 years ago, but I want to use this as my AKA. Can I do that? Oh, yeah, there's a form for it right here. A little paper. And I just had to fill it out, what my original name is, and I want to use my AKA, also known as. And it's perfectly legal. I could change it. I could go down there and change it back to Cardona, but I use Mercado still.
Right.
So change it to Frank Chacon Mercado. And when you catch the check. And so I told my mom, she was like, my mom's just a do-good person. Like, she didn't want me doing that. I said, well, it's only when I catch this check, Mom. She goes, why don't you change it back to Cardona after you're done cashing it? No, okay, Mom. No way, man. The only time I got busted for like the next 2 violations is because I got caught red-handed, But there was a lot of times when I was absconding for 5 years. 5 years, what absconding is. I don't know if they call that out there, but it's on the run. Altogether, it was 5 years. 2 years here.
Absconded.
What's that?
You absconded.
Yeah, absconding, yeah. And for 5 years, I did it like 1 year. One time I went back in. Another time for 2 years. Another time.
So you just keep getting out, and you just don't report.
No. Well, I had that ID.
Right.
It didn't have my parole.
Yeah, I understand you have the ID, but you're still supposed to report.
Well, I did report the first time.
Well, why didn't you report? Like, is it because you were back on drugs?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. First time I get out.
You thought you couldn't complete the probation.
Yes.
It was just because you couldn't complete the probation as a result of your drug use.
Yes.
Okay.
And when I first get out, I would go and drug test because I was clean. And then 30 days later, I'm not clean anymore. You know what I mean? And so I'm gonna come out. And so there's times where, he said go in the bathroom, but a lot of times they watch you pee. Well, yeah. I got away with that so many times, just clip my nail towards kind of a sharp point. And I'd get a condom and I'd fill up with synthetic pee, tape it around my, private parts, like tuck it right there. And I'd pull it out and just right to him looking over my shoulder, I would pop that hole in the condom and just put it in pee right in there, and they would never see, So, but the times really, it's really retarded when you say, do I need to test today? And he's like, no. Oh, okay. And stupid me, I believe him. Oh yeah, you got to test. When they tell you they're not going to test, you really are going to test.
Right.
So I said, man, so it was a dirty test. And after that, I just wouldn't report no more because I knew I was going back. And, I get pulled over many times. And like, yeah, here's my ID. All right, I'm good to go. And then the last time I went to prison, on the last violation, I was living up, my mom's got 2 houses. And her house is about 4 houses up from this house. And I was up there living with Kim, and my mom's on me like, you need to turn yourself in. You need to turn yourself. I said, Mom, I am. I promise. I'm gonna turn myself in tomorrow. Yeah. But in reality, I wasn't. So one day she decided, you know what? I'm gonna. She didn't even tell me. She called the cops on me.
Right.
And yeah, he's up there at my house. Go and get him. And so my mom had this front door that had windows in it. I heard someone knocking at the door. I don't know what that is. I was sleeping. I got up and always carried weapons with me, no matter what. Gun, knife, brass knuckles. At this time, I had brass knuckles with me. And I peeked around the corner. That cop was right there. Oh, come here. I'll bust the door in. I'll bust your mom's door in. I'm like, oh, man. So I went to open the door. He goes, okay. And then I said, man, look, I got brass knuckles on me. Oh, look at it. Hey, Jim, look at these. Oh, man, he's going away for a long time. I'm like,
come on.
Yeah, I said, you guys really going to do this to me? I told you they were in my pocket. Look at it and use them. I could have been an asshole and used them all by you guys. Oh, you wouldn't want to. I said, I know I didn't want to. I'm just saying. I'm just stating a fact. I was complying. I was trying to be cool. So they didn't charge me with it. And I was with Kim. They had no contact with her. So that was like automatic year, which is 6 months. Oh, Joe got a no contact. I said, and first thing that came out of my mouth, are you sure you guys got the right person? He goes, no. Don't try that wrong. Don't tell us that other name bullshit on us because we already know about that. Your mom told us about that. Because I just told my girlfriend, I just told my mom the day before that. Oh, because we got into an argument. And so I got all mad and just left before I got really mad. And so she told my mom, yeah, the only way he's been get away with this parole is because he's got an ID that says Mercado on it. And so she told the cops that. Oh, yeah, he's been pulling the wool over your eyes all this whole time. He's got a fake ID. Well, it's not even a fake. It was a real ID. It flied. And so he's been using a different name, Mercado, blah, blah, blah. And so they don't know. The jig was up.
Right.
And so And so,
so
anyway,
you go, you finished your probation, or they finally just take you off it? Parole?
Well, no, I actually, I had like about, at that time, what you do is you max out when you're in custody, but like when you're on the run, it like stops. You know what I mean? It's like, say you got 3 years left, and when you're on the run, that 3 years like floats in front of you. It doesn't,
Right.
It don't eat away at it.
They don't give you time off for being on the run.
No, they don't. They do not discriminate, you know. So anyways, so I do so at that time, I think I had about 8 months left to kick parole, you know, at that time. It might have been more. I can't remember. It seems like, anyway, so I go to New Delano. It was a prison. It had only been opened up like a year, and which was right next to another prison called Delano. And I tell you, man, that was the worst prison I think I've ever been to. Not as where I was at, it was the deadliest prison, because now I don't know if it was like a drill they did, but an ambulance would race into that place every single day, right after chow. Somebody got stabbed every day. That ambulance, and then it would go out real slow. So the guy was dead, or well, I don't know. You know,
maybe they're just working on him.
Maybe they were just doing a drill.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's good. You know? But then, you know, when you're in there, you say, "Oh yeah, I just came from that yard, man. Yeah, homie got gambling debt. You know, gambling debt. You know, another one, heroin debt, gambling debt, heroin. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me! You got stabbed for a gambling debt. What happened to that? Well, he wiped it clean. He's gambling the next day, got dead again, got stabbed a couple days later. Are you kidding me? Same guy got stabbed. Is that how he pays out his debts? And yeah. And I'm like, I don't believe this. And so this other guy came back and, that's what's going on. He told me the same story. I'm like, are you kidding me? So this guy's got holes. That's why that ambulance comes in and they're probably going, oh, this guy again. You know what I mean? They're stitching the same guy up or whatever, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, every day it was like clockwork, man. That racing in there. Sometimes they raced in there really fast. Sometimes they would just kind of cruise in. Every day. I'm not exaggerating. Every single day.
So,
you know, so anyways,
go ahead.
I got that. I maxed out in there. The violation was 8 months. And I got out off parole. And that was in 2006, 2007, 2006. Yeah. From 1997 to 2006. Yeah. I was on parole. Long time. 10 years. It was 10 years, I believe. Yeah. You know, something like that. You know, and,
on the installment plan.
Exactly. Increments, you call it. Increments. Yeah. So, yeah. And so after that, I came back living with my mom, and she's like, what are you going to do now? I mean, you're out parole. You can do what the fuck you want. You know? I said, well, Mama, you know, I did have my CDL back once upon a time. And she goes, well, I'll send you to school. So my mom paid $5,000, sent me to the truck driving school. Because, like, you go down to the DMV, get the license, but nobody's going to give you a job unless you got the schooling behind you.
Right.
Like, I could learn to be a phlebotomist. What is that? The guys that stick the needles in your arms?
Yeah. Phlebotomist.
Yeah. I could learn how to do that. I could probably be a real good one of those, you know what I mean? But they don't going to hire me, you know? And so, yeah, same thing. So I went to school, and so because I was a felon, nobody would hire me. So I finally found somebody that I kind of knew. There's a mom and pop's truck place here in town. And I sold myself to him. I said, hey, listen here, Larry. And Larry Bowman's name. I thank God. I thank Godmother for him. He gave me a chance. He goes, he asked me if I knew people. He goes, oh yeah, I know all those people. We knew a lot of the same people because he'd been here forever. He goes, well, Frank, I'll give you a chance. I'll give you a chance. But he goes, you fuck up, I will fire you. Said, that's all I asked for is a chance, Larry. Just give me 6 months. I don't care. I'll give you however long you can give me. So he did. He gave me the chance. I was driving flatbed and flatbed is, you got to get out and strap the load down. So you got to work kind of hard, you know? It's kind of hard. I don't know if you've heard about the, and I started getting high again, which, you know, I'm driving a truck all high, you know? And so I don't know if you ever heard of the Grapevine here in California, but everybody's heard of it. And it's a road that's, I think it's 4% grade. So it's about this steep. You can see that. It's real steep for about 3 miles. when it snows there, you can't drive it down. You cannot drive up it or down it. I don't care if you got chains on your tires. No one, they'll close it. If there's 2 inches of snow on that road, they'll close it. And it's the road to Vegas, So anyways, to Bakersfield. Anyways, I was high one time and going down the downhill part, loaded with sandblast, which is big bags of sandblast, the sandblast stuff. And my truck turned off.
What do you mean turned off?
It just turned off. It malfunctioned.
Right.
And so I was like always trying to slow down because you got to only go 5 miles an hour down this thing. And by then, all my air is gone. And so your tires are, for whatever reason, are supposed to lock up. And they didn't lock up. And so I'm trying to start it, and it was starting. And I finally got to start, but I didn't have enough air to apply brakes. So I'm like punching it. I'm in neutral. I'm trying to shift it in gear. And by then I was in the fast lane. And, anyways, I pulled it off, man. Pulled it off without hitting anybody. I was probably doing about 100 miles an hour at the end there and didn't hit nobody. And very lucky that I pulled that off.
So how long you been driving a truck?
Since 2007.
Same people?
No, actually, he fired me for something else after that. He fired me for getting a flat tire. I got a flat tire, man, and I know it sounds retarded, but I was in Bakersfield. I got a flat tire, and he wanted me to drive this flat tire to the tire shop. I said, well, okay. And I didn't know if that was. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, okay, I'll try this flat tire. And I'm going 10 miles an hour. And his son, what's taking you so long? I'm like, well, I don't know how fast to do it. Just drive it fast. I'm like, but what if it pops another thing? I'll just go. And so, anyways, I get to the tire shop, and it's on a Sunday. I remember it well. And the guy had to come out there, and he goes, well, I'll tell him on the phone. I said, if I have to charge you service charge, I said, well, I'm right here at your shop. Well, if I have to pull that truck out of the garage, that's a service charge, $200 right off the top. Okay, whatever, man. I need this tire fixed. So he pulls out. He goes, well, we got, I'll never forget. He goes, we got the $1,000 tire, we got the $900 tire, and we got the $800 tires. I said, really? I said, well, do you got anything? Well, we do got one cheaper. You want that one? I said, yeah. So I said, well, how much is it? He goes, well, I don't know. I said, what do you mean? I can't call my boss and say, he's going to ask me how much is what. I can't tell him I don't know. Well, it's not over $800. And so I told my boss, hey, he said it's not going to be over $800. What? What is it? A steer tire, which goes on the front, because those are expensive. They're usually, you could get a brand new one for $300. This guy's charging me $800.
Right.
And so plus the service charge, $1,000. So that's why I got fired. So the first thing he did because then it was on the trailer, I got back. First thing they did, they took that tire off and saved it because it was such a good tire, $1,000 tire. I don't know what the hell, you know what I mean? And so, but I went back to work for Larry about 6 times already. That's. We're really good friends. I mean, he's my homeboy, man. He's an old guy, I love him to death, and he'll give me a job anytime, but I always know it's not permanent. It's not permanent. He's almost out of business right now. He's only got 2 trucks, and at one time he had 16.
Wow.
So he's not doing too good, but I mean, he's doing all right. But yeah.
So what are you doing now?
Well, I've worked now. Well, 3 months ago, 4 months, almost 4 months ago. I was working for a Russian guy out of Los Angeles. Drove everywhere. Called Amex Lines, which stands for American Express, and is a Russian guy. Yeah, man. And anyway, so I do that now until I got diagnosed with my cancer. Maybe you can tell. You can't really tell. I had a pretty good sized lump right here. And
no, you can't tell at all.
No, and I could only open my mouth. Before it was like this.
And this is because of the cancer?
Yeah, because it was in my jaw, and then it came down. And then I got a mass right here. I just had chemo yesterday, and as you see, I'm doing good today.
Yeah, I was worried about that. Because I've always, you always hear people get real sick when they do chemo. But
yeah, it was really weird. Yesterday when I went, I'd have to drive about 100 miles to get my chemo from here because we live 100 miles south of LA. And we get out there, and they canceled it because my phosphate levels were too low. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me, man? I said, I don't know if I can wait another week. I need to get this right away. I need to get the stuff out of me, you know? And so me and my mom drove me out there, 73 years old. She, bless her heart, she quit her job to take care of me. You know, she's a practitioner, medical practitioner, you know, she's in
right.
And so, and I feel bad for that she's doing this, you know. I said, Mom, let me take the train out there. This train goes right to there. And she said, no, you're not taking no train. I'll drive you. I said, oh, no. So anyways, so we left to go, we started to leave. I was kind of bummed about it. And because now, what they did for me the day before yesterday, I'll show you this real fast, was they put a PICC line right here.
Right.
Okay. You see
okay.
That? So now they do it right there. And so anyways, we stopped at this restaurant. That's another story, but they called me back. They called me one of the restaurants and said, hey, are you still on the campus? I'm like, well, I'm right down the street. Well, you know what? I made a mistake on your labs. I said, well, she goes, can you come back? We can do your chemo today. I said, I'm there. So we raced back over there, and we were there till like 7:30 last night. And, you know, see, have you ever driven traffic like coming out of Tampa at 7:30? It's just
yeah. I mean, it's
just terrible. It's the worst.
Well, I'm also in Tampa, not LA, so I'm sure it's vastly different. You know, Tampa's the traffic's, you know, even us saying it's bad is nothing compared to LA traffic.
Yeah, I mean, because there's so many people there, man, and you know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm the best driver in the world. You know what I mean? Because everybody's an idiot. I mean, my mom's. I said, bless her heart. I've never had to ride with somebody so much in my life because I'm always been driving. I'm a driver. That's what I do, and I'm comfortable when I drive because if I hit somebody, I know it's gonna be my fault. You know what I mean? You know. So, but yeah. So, anyways, I got that going on and got the chemo yesterday, so I'm a little bit so happier about that because I need to get this out. I need to get back to work. So, anyways, that's what I was doing 4 months ago before all this happened. I was just out in Springfield, Massachusetts, a few other places. I go to New Jersey a lot. Go to Boston a lot. I don't know if you've ever been to Boston. You ever been to Boston before?
No, I don't think so.
Boston, let me tell you about Boston. When you pull up to Boston, big city, and I can't remember the freeway. I want to say it's the 95. But I don't think it might be. Well, the freeway goes underneath the city for like 3 miles, the whole city length. And you're driving underneath the city in this tunnel. And then there's like other freeways that go onto that freeway underneath the freeway, underneath the city. There's this whole freeway system down underneath the city of Boston. It's crazy. And then after like 2 miles, 3 miles, it gets about 2 miles. I can't remember, but then it comes out and you look in your mirror and there's the city that you just went underneath. It's really neat. It's really quite an accomplishment, that place. But yeah, but there's one more thing I want to tell you. Well, I remembered this little story. This might interest you. A couple of years ago when I was on parole, I met this guy. I don't really want to say his name, but his name was Dale. And he was ex-con. You know, he had tattoos. He looked like a hard criminal. He's a friend of a friend. And so I lived with this girl for a while. This was probably, I think I was already off parole. Yeah, I was off parole. So this was like in 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. And I wasn't working, I wasn't driving, I was just getting high. I was just doing nothing with my life at that moment. And you know, didn't have to pay rent because I was living with this girl, you know. So anyways, this guy shows up and goes, hey man, he goes, I need a ride. Do you think you can give me a ride? I said, well, I don't even know you. I said, what do you want to ride? He goes, well, I'll let you know. I said, well, I'll let you know how much gas I need. He goes, well, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I said, I'll fill up your tank if you just give me a ride to, and he got this address, and it was right there in town. And I knew the area. I said, what do you do there? He goes, I'm going to pick up my American Express card. I said, what? He goes, yeah, I'm going to take this. There's an American Express card there in the mail that I got to get. I said, how do you know this? I don't want to be wasting my time. I said, and when do I get the gas? He goes, after I get the card. And I'm thinking, oh, this guy's full of shit, right? And so if you ever order pizza, like Domino's pizza online, you ever done that before? How you got the meter? This is as your pizza's being made, your pizza's on the way.
Yeah, the tracker.
Yes.
Tracking it.
Well, UPS has got the same system.
Right.
But so what this guy was doing was someone turned him on to this con. And what it was is the tracking number for American Express. If you say you lose your American Express card. Now only American, I think they changed it since then. This is like back then. But American Express has got a tracking number for returned cards. It's a real long 14 number. And so you go onto the UPS website and you put in that number and you hit search. And all these American Express cards that are being returned are on this list, but there's no address. Okay, there's no address. So what he would do was he'd call up UPS and say, yeah, hi, I am expecting a package, and there'll be another tracking number there for his address where it's going, but the address wasn't. Yeah, I want to track my package. Make sure it's going to my current address, not to my old address or whatever, how you said it.
Right.
Here's the number. I just want to make sure it's going to the right address. Oh yes, Mr. Smith, it's going to 123 Main Street, blah blah blah. Oh, thank you so much. Because last time I got sent to my okay, thank you. We're right now we got the address and the guy's name. So
right.
So we type in the number, and there's just like Domino's Pizza, your package is on its en route, and then it would say it is delivered.
Right.
So we go there, and we got like these vest, hard hats. Walked up the street and I walked to the doors and just with a clipboard. Say, yeah, we're with the utility company. We're probably doing construction, construction around your backyard next week. We're just letting everybody know. And so the house where the mail was at, they usually put it underneath the floor mat. And there it was, man, American Express. Now, American Express at that time was the only credit card that came activated right out of the mail. You didn't have to call and say, yeah, I got my card. Can you activate it? You didn't have to do all that.
Right.
Because we would go straight to the gas station, run it, and it would fill us with gas. So, and we'd go to we just run on a sprint, and he would go into Rite Aid or Walgreens and go in there and get some birthday cards, like the real expensive ones, like the $20 ones, $30 ones. Get like 3 of them. 4 of them. And so he goes, yeah, I'd like to get 4 gift cards, $500 each.
Right. That way, if they shut off the card, he still got the gift cards, or he could sell the gift cards.
Oh, yeah. And so then they see these real expensive gift cards, so they didn't question the amount because we're already buying, it's probably $100 in just the birthday cards, and say, oh, and they wouldn't even think about it. Like, yeah, okay, no problem, 5. So there's $2,000 right there. And it would get shut off after a while before we'd get it up to about $5,000. And, we'd go to the Red Box, get a bunch of DVDs, people wanted to buy, just groceries.
Red Box.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Yeah. And you don't see those around anymore. Anyways, and we get the games, whatever. And so, we did that for a long time, man, a long, long time. And then I finally said, well, how are you doing this? And I got to know. So he told me about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's a pretty good little scam. And what kind of messed it all up was, this guy was, he looked like he tatted down. He looked like Uncle Fester from Addams Family. I don't know if you're that guy.
Yeah, I know. Everybody knows what Fester.
Yeah. He kind of looked like him. Or that like Homer Simpson, The Simpsons, the boss, Homer Simpson's boss.
Yeah. It's Mr. Not Morgan. I used to sign fucking satisfactions as him. It's Montgomery Burns.
Burns. That's what they called him in prison. A. Burns. That's what this guy looked like. Right. So anyways, when he goes, hey, you know any tattoo artists? I know a bunch of them. So he wanted a name put right here. And so I had him take pictures, and I thought it was his girlfriend, which I thought it was his girlfriend, until I heard him talking to him on the phone. And it was clearly a guy sounding like a girl.
Right.
And I'm like, and so, hey, my old lady wants to talk to you. She don't believe that I got the tattoo. I'm like, hello? Yeah. And, it's a guy trying to sound like a girl. And I could hear more in the background, like, guys trying to sound like, and it's clear, not that I have nothing against them at all, but it was a shocker to me.
Right.
And so I didn't want to hang out with him no more. I was like, I got to cut you loose, homeboy. I mean, well, what's the problem? I said, man, I don't want to get busted, And I did, and he got all butthurt. I thought he was gonna start crying, man, because I was like his only friend, and then so he was staying with me and my friend Jessica at the time, and it was her friend, and so when I said, you have to kick him out of here. Don't tell him never to come back. She goes, why? I said, just because just trust me on this. And so she told me, Dale, you got to go, man. Oh, so he ended up getting busted anyway. And so he left some of his mail there because he just got out of prison when he got there. He just got out of prison.
Right.
And so he had a manila envelope, and Jessica goes, Frank, come here. You got to see this. And now, I don't know if they do it in the feds where you're at, but do you ever see them make those like picture frames out of folded paper?
Yeah. They're amazing.
Amazing. Well, this guy had a bikini made out of that. A bikini. I'm like, I just didn't know what to make of it. And it was his size.
Well, I mean, he was an odd guy. He had some issues, some things going on.
You think never judge a book by its cover, ever. And to this day, I think about it. Man, I was hanging out with this guy. I get it back. So, yeah.
So did you stop doing the scam, or?
Yeah. Well, we stopped. Well, what happened was, like a couple of weeks later, maybe it was a couple months later, some other people got busted doing it. Right. And I remember it well. So like, I quit doing the scam myself. I just didn't want to get busted. You know what I mean? And I could have, I had the number and everything. But like a couple months later, maybe a month later, I can't remember. But right there in the paper, some people got busted, and they were doing the exact same thing we were doing. Exactly. They had it, except for at the very end, it said, it is not clear how they knew how the packages were getting to that address. So they didn't know. I think to myself, man, they probably really want to know how that scam was. I wonder if they'd give me money if I told them, Right. But be an advocate about it. So listen, I was doing some research on this. And did you guys ever think about that? First of all, can we work out an agreement out here? Like, I don't want to get busted for nothing. Can I get a check? But I didn't. I was like, yeah, forget that. Got other things to do. So yeah, I never did it after that. But yeah, it was a good little scam. We did it. We made a few thousand. Who knows how much we made? We made enough. And you think about it now, it really wasn't a lot of money,
right?
For the time I could have done, But each card, one card we got, and it was like a lottery. It had a limit. Each card had $5,000 limit. One card had $30,000 limit.
Right.
We're like, yeah, right. Let's go buy a car. And in reality, you can't buy a car with that. In reality, that's what you want to do, but.
You can try, but the cops are going to show up and arrest.
Yeah, they're going to say, American Express say, whoa, they got to call this guy right now. He's never done this. But $30,000 business limit. There's some kind of business. And the crazy thing is, the crazy thing about the whole thing was the very first one that we went to was, well, I don't want to say where's that. We'll just say it's like we're older people there.
Right.
So every time that guy didn't get the card, he must call and say, hey, I never got my card. And so they would send him another one. We went to that same house 3 times. 3 times. Yeah. And got away with it. And so the guy wanted, hey, let's go back to that same house. No, man. No, that's 3 times was too many already,
Right.
But it was an easy spot to get in and out, and it was a gated community. And I had the key to get into the gate. So that's what made it so easy, you know.
So how much more chemo do you have?
6 more weeks. 6 more weeks. Yeah. I thought I was going to do radiation yesterday, but I didn't do the radiation. And yeah, so I think I'm not sure when the radiation kicks in, but I tell you what, man, it works. It works. I mean, the lumps, you can't even see them right here at all anymore. But I had 3 big lumps right there, like the size of a gumball.
So,
and I had some on my neck here too, and they're gone.
So you haven't had any radiation yet?
No.
Or did you know? My mom had it, and they put a little They put like what was on her. They put like a little tattoo.
Really?
So they could hit it, so they could knew the exact spot every time.
Really?
I don't know if that was her situation or if they're going to put a couple little tattoos on you.
Well, you know, this thing that I got here, first time when I used it was yesterday, and I just had it put on the day before yesterday. So it's a little sore still, but it's really weird. It's all new to me. I didn't know how this thing works. I wasn't looking, but the needle's about that long and it's big, super big. And they stab it right directly into you. I mean, like not at an angle, like into your chest.
Right.
I'm like, I said, wait a minute, that isn't long enough to go sideways. No, I'm not going sideways. I'm going directly in. I'm like, I said, well, I'm going to feel that. She goes, well, yeah, of course you're going to feel like, oh. Are you kidding me? I said, can't you just do it in my arm? You know, I mean, I got the scar on my arm. I said, what's another scar? You know, no. And it hurt, dude. It did. I ain't going to lie. It hurt. It was like getting stabbed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That didn't hurt. That didn't feel good.
They didn't numb it?
Well, they did put something. No, they didn't numb it because I just had this thing put in. Now, I don't think they numbed it. I think maybe they did. I don't know. It's all new to me, man. I try to pay attention, but then I just try to keep it out of my mind, you know?
Right.
I pretend like it's not really happening to me because I am like, 3-4 months ago, I was hauling 80,000 pounds, 3,000 miles across the nation, you know, and just making mad money, man. And I'm like, and then top it off, you know, I haven't paid taxes in 16 years.
Okay. Bro.
You know, I
gotta get that taken care of.
1099. Well, I'm kind of lazy on that.
You could have a problem at some point.
So, but I tell you what, I got a bank account about a year ago. I get direct deposit, and I went to I'll leave on a Monday night, and I'll come back on Friday morning. So we'll say that's 5 days, but it's not a full 5 days, and I'll make anywhere from $1,500 to $1,800.
Right.
So which is pretty good money, you know. And so I remember man, I made $1,800, and my old lady went to work, and I said, well, I had 200 cash in this. I'm gonna go to a casino and go gamble. You know? So I went to the casino and I checked my bank account. It said 1,800 and whatever it was. And very cool. So I went to the casino and we lost the $200. Luckily, I had gas in my truck, you know. So because I wanted to go pull some more money out, and it said insufficient funds. I said, what's I was like trying to make this absorb in my head. What does this mean? You know? And the IRS had took that money out already.
My God.
Go figure, huh?
I can't believe the IRS wants their money. Those bastards.
Yeah. And so that wasn't the first time. They've already done it to me like 6 times already.
Well, have you not made a phone call?
Man, I hate those guys, dude. You know what? Now, well, you know, it's just in my blood to try to get away with stuff, man.
But you're not getting away with it.
I know I'm not. I know, but I figured a way out to get out. And so we'll check it out. So I never had a credit card.
Listen, are you sure you want to tell me this on the podcast?
Yeah, it's no problem. Yeah, so yeah, I could. So, anyways, right after this happened, I was a little pissed off. I went to the bank. I said, hey, how can you guys do this to me? Well, you can't. You know, I'm sorry.
What can I? So,
yeah.
They told us to send the money. We got it.
So 2 days later, I get a thing in the mail from Chase Bank, well-known Chase, and they said your pre-approved credit card is waiting for you. All you do is fill out this form, $1,300 limit. And you know my credit's like my credit's shot to hell, man. It's like the score's like 400, you know. and maybe 500. I can't remember. And I just thought it was a joke. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll fill it out. And so I got in the truck, took off, and they said, yeah, your card's waiting for you in the mailbox. And so I didn't come back for 3 weeks. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I want to hurry up and get back and see this card. And there it was, $1,300 credit limit. And I figured it was Chase telling me that they're sorry that that's the IRS.
They don't care.
Well, why us? Why would they do that?
Because probably something on your credit fell off. Your scores went up. They run random batches and say, hey, do you have anybody that has a 700 score that's been with Chase for more than 5 years? And that you probably fit that mold. And they said, oh, issue them a credit card.
Yeah, at the time it was just perpetual on it.
Well,
right after I had no money in the bank. They put a levy on my bank, but the thing is, they only do a levy for like a week, and then it turns right back into a bank account. So anyways, what I do now, I tried the credit card, ran it down to 0, paid it all back. And then now my credit score is like over 700. I'm like, I thought I heard angels singing in the air. So
well, stuff falls off. After time, stuff just falls off.
Well, yeah. I'd actually co-signed for someone to get a car a couple of years ago, and they had it for 2 days and wrecked it. But the insurance was supposed to cover it, and they're trying to say I owed $15,000. I said, man, I wasn't even, but it was on my record for like a year. I'm like, and they finally called me, hey, what's up with this money? I said, man, you know what? That insurance is supposed to cover it. Oh, we didn't see that. Yeah, we'll get it off my credit report. That's when my credit 712.
Right.
And so, so now what I do is, I could pay the credit card, but now I found out that you can, if you paid it off, if you balanced that out to 0, you could actually put more money on there to raise your credit limit higher. I didn't know that. Like I could put another 1,000 in there. Now my credit limit is $2,300.
Right.
And so the IRS can't take it out of the credit card.
Right.
So that's what I do. I get a direct deposit. I make sure I'm online. And I transferred it onto my credit card. They haven't taken it from me ever since.
Well,
just I don't mean. I'm not saying people should do that. Pay your taxes. I should pay my. I will pay my.
You guys pay your taxes. You guys.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah,
not you.
Yeah, I'll pay them one of these days. Okay, I'm lying. So I just. Look, man, I just don't want to pay it, man. I will, though. I mean, they're
bigger
taking
problems right now.
It's only like $14,000,
right?
Which ain't that much. A friend of mine had $500,000. A friend of mine that owns a casino, he hired a lawyer or whatever he was. Yeah. Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of your taxes for you. All I got to do is give me $2,000 a month, and the time per cap was like $20,000 or $30,000 for him. So $2,000 really wasn't much to him, So 20 years goes down the road, and he was living in Oklahoma the whole time. He's from California, but he was in Oklahoma. He has a house out there too, and the guy wasn't paying his taxes. He just burnt them, and so that he gets something from he moved back to California, and as soon as he did that, the IRS says, we've been looking for you. Oh, why? What's going on? Because you owe us $500,000 in taxes.
Right.
Oh, well, my lawyer was supposed to pay. Well, we don't know what you're talking about. So he goes, we could do it like this. We could take all your per cap until it's paid off, or you can make a payment arrangement. He goes, let my lawyer talk to you about it. Let me get a different lawyer. So the lawyer got it down to like $2,000 a month. He's got to pay. Just do the math on that there, Matt.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal.
No.
Of course, they know they're going to get nothing. They know they're never going to get close to the $250,000. So
yeah. And so then and then I guess his per cap went down a little bit. Who knows? But that's what he says. So you never know with this guy. But I mean, guys, they're so fortunate, because this guy's one of my best friends. There's been times I've needed money and he's helped me out. And I'm like, I'll pay you back. You don't have to pay me back. Don't worry. You're not borrowed like thousands off me. I said, hey man, this either I got to do this, or you could loan me the money. He goes, well, I'll give you the money.
Right.
And one time I needed 1,000, he gave me 2,000. And we've been best friends since like third grade.
Right.
And when he was like in third grade, he lived on the next street over from me, and he was poor. He was so poor. His family was like, his brother got sick one time, and they told him, "Hey, Lance, I shouldn't say his name, but hey, dude, we got to, we can't afford you here since your brother's sick, so we're going to have to send you to boarding school, so that we can't take, so we don't have to pay to feed you."
Okay.
So he went to boarding school from 9th grade to 12th grade, and it was an Indian boarding school. It's in Riverside, California. It's called Sherman.
Okay. So they pay for everything.
Yeah, they pay. He lives there. He lives there.
Right.
Come home on the weekends if he want, but he never did because there was really they didn't have enough gas money to go get them. That's how poor they were. And so, he moved. He came back in 12th grade. Didn't even see him the whole time through high school. And come out, and man, did he have some stories of that place, dude. He got in a fight every day there. Every day he had to get a fight. I said, "Well, what was that? Was that the worst part?" He goes, "No. The worst part is someone stole my toothbrush every single day." I said, "What? Someone stole your toothbrush every day? Was it before you used it or after?" He goes, "Well, after I used it, someone would steal it. Every single." So they give you free toothbrushes there. I said, "I don't know why they would steal yours." He goes, "Yeah, I had to go get one from it was free, but I don't know why they just wouldn't get their own toothbrush." But he said that was the worst part. I said, "What about the fighting?" He goes, "Oh, you have to fight every day in there, because it was like it's school, but there's no nobody watching you there, really. There's no counselors there or whatever. I mean, you get to leave the campus, go to the liquor store, have someone buy you beer, and they bring in the campus. He said there's beer cans everywhere in the dorms, and the staff didn't care. As long as you went to school, you didn't kill each other. They didn't care.
Right.
So then they would drink and they would fight. And he said he even had to fight a few girls. I said, "What was that like?" He goes, "This girl punched me one time, so I knocked her out." I said, "What?" I said, "Man, so yeah." I mean, that's just some of the stories he told me. I feel so bad for him, man, because he's such a nice guy. He's very religious. He's like totally religious, man. He's into God. He's always praying. He's always praying to me, praying for me. And I love him to death. But anyways, yeah. I seen that. What's that one? You did a few big interviews,
right?
Yeah, and pretty interesting. I didn't know that you did it. Like, what's that one guy? I think he's from India. I can't think what his name, but he lives here.
Oh yeah, you mean
the Incredible Hulk?
I think he's from Iran. Patrick Bet David.
Yes. Yeah.
Is he Iranian or is he from Iran?
Something like that.
Anyway, yeah.
The guy's got the Incredible Hulk right there, and
yeah. He's that's actually was super interesting. He's really tall. He's like 6'6" or something, and he's he's exactly the person that, like, it's not like he was any different in person than he was on any of those interviews.
Really?
Just a nice guy.
Yeah.
Spent time talking to me. Like when the whole thing was over, we talked for 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, he seems pretty cool.
Yeah, he seemed like he is as far as I know, he was a really good guy. And it was funny because at that time it was in Texas. I want to say it was in might have been Houston or Dallas. I forget. Anyway, it was they flew me out to Texas to be on the podcast, and
nice.
Got into an Uber and went there. And since then, though, he's moved to Florida. I think he's in West Palm or Fort Lauderdale. So anyway, he's down close to Miami.
Okay.
But yeah.
Nice guy. I watched a few of his interviews, and he's quite compelling. He's very captivating.
Yeah.
He's very captivating person.
Yeah, he's he's an American success story for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, because I've seen some of his older ones, and when he first started, and they're nothing like compared to the ones he does now.
No, what's funny about that is that several of the podcasts that I was on were like close to 1 million subscribers. Like when I first did his podcast, I think he just hit 1 million. And now you look at it and they're, whatever, 2, 3, 4 million. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, same thing with Soft White Underbelly.
Yeah.
That he wasn't quite at 1 million subscribers when I did Soft White Underbelly. Now it's like 2 or 3 million or 4 million. It's outrageous.
Wow.
So
It's quite a name, soft white underbelly.
Soft white underbelly. Those are great. Those are great. That guy's name is Mark Leda. Just nicest guy. Another guy who's a giant. He's got to be like 6'4" or something.
Really?
In great shape. He's got to be in his 60s or in his late 60s or mid 60s, but looks like he's just a perfect specimen.
Wow.
You know, if you see him up front, it's got to be growth hormone, like human growth hormone or something, because he just is in.
Mammoth,
you can't be in that kind of shape without drugs of some kind. I mean, I looked at the guy, I'm talking to him on these veins everywhere. He's got no body fat. It's like, how the fuck do you maintain this in your 60s?
He just sleeps and gets it. Come on.
Yeah. It's funny too, because he's so dedicated to that show. He does nothing but edit and do interviews. Actually, at the time, he had just broken up with his girlfriend that he'd been dating. They've been dating, he said, like a year or so. And she was like, look, you're spending all your time doing this. And, you know, she's, you know, and you don't have to, like, you're retired. Like, he's a multimillionaire. And she's like, you don't have to do this. And he's like, well, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. And she's like, yeah, but you got to cut back. And he goes, well, I'm not going to cut back. And she said, well, then we can't date anymore. And he was like, I'll miss you. Huh. I mean, some of these guys, I've met these guys that have these really amazing stories. Like Mark Leda worked for all these massively huge corporations his whole life.
Right.
You know, made a bunch of money, and then one day retires and decides he's going to spend the rest of his life documenting people's stories that he said deserve to be documented. And it's like, wow. Like, you know, it's like somebody has to do that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not going to be me. I'm not doing it. But somebody, a decent person would do it. And he's a decent person. And I'm just, I'm not interested in doing it. But but it's great. It's like, it's great that someone would do that. It's,
it's very compelling and compelling, but I guess very captivating to me. I'm just like, they put their heart into it. I mean, because you know that's what they want to do. It's not because they have to do it to like make money. It's just because they want to. And you know, it's not about the money after that. And that's what makes it so unique.
I love it when people do that and then the money does come.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, it's great to see, hey, wow, this guy's doing this. And, it's great to see somebody doing that and following their passion, and they're getting 200 views and it never takes off, but that's what they want to do. And that's fine. And hey, good for them. And I hope it works out for them and that they get satisfaction out of it. But it's really over the top amazing when somebody does something like that and it pays off in droves. It's just like overwhelming, and they start making money at it, and they're doing good, and they're successful. And then it's like, wow, that's really great.
Right. Yeah. Have you seen any of the, they call him the Beast? Have you heard the Beast?
What do you mean?
His name is the Beast.
That's Yeah. Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast. Yeah.
Mr. Beast. Yeah. He's the biggest podcaster there is, or YouTuber.
I've seen him, I've only seen a couple, I've seen what he did in Africa, which is just amazing. I don't know if you've seen that, where he put 100 wells out there for these people that have dirty water. And at the end, he goes, I came out here and gave all these people fresh water, a YouTuber on YouTube, and just the way he said that, just like, you go, boy. You know what I mean? Because come on, they got the money to build their own wells. Well, what they can, because they're so, I don't know what, But I thought that was.
I think that their government just doesn't care.
That's what it is. The government says, well, why should we do that? We got enough money. We got our own clean water. Why should we let, that's what it is.
People always talk about how corrupt our system is, and they have no idea what it's like in other countries. In other countries, it's the corruption's so overwhelmingly blatant. Do you know how many times that somebody's been elected to some of these South American countries? They've been elected. They immediately pilfer the treasury, and they rig the elections, and then 6 years later they fly off and live the rest of their life in France with $40 million of taxpayer money.
And getting away with it.
Right, get away with it. No problem. It's the way it is. Yeah.
And then I'll do a little manufacturing, get 3 years. You do a little fraud, do 10 for 12 years. That's fun, yeah. Yeah, no. But yeah, man. So yeah, I think that's about it, man.
Yeah, let's wrap it up because I'm actually have about 4 things that I need to do. And it's funny, I've been getting texts and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, there are people bugging the hell out of me.
You're a busy person. I get it. That's for sure. I appreciate the time, man.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you spending the time with me and telling me the stories and, keep in touch with me. Like I would like to know what, how everything turns out with the chemo, and you seem very at ease with it, by the way.
I am, but, I'm not, because, I'm a thinker. I'm always thinking. And my mind is, they say your mind could be your worst enemy. That's me right now.
Yeah.
I can't sleep at night because I worry about it killing me, and I'm like, oh man, should I be doing this, or should I be doing this now, or what else can I do? What if I die next week? What if, I don't know what's going to happen. It's so and so I'm losing sleep. I sleep 2 hours a night.
Well, it seems like, if you talk to the doctor, they'll probably give you some kind of something for anxiety.
Yeah, I told
you probably should be on something for anxiety.
I told him that. I said, what's all your symptoms? I said, well, I can't sleep, and so I am not. Like I said, I cleaned up 4 months ago, and the first thing they prescribed me was OxyContin, and I'm like, man, I said, I don't know if I want to take those because I heard they're so addicting, and I don't need no new habits,
Right.
Apparently, doing drugs my whole life wasn't even really about. I never felt it as an addiction. I felt it as like a habit.
Right.
Why? It was like a habit. More, it's like cigarettes, And I tell you, if anything, I crave more. If I was to say drugs or cigarettes, I crave a cigarette more than anything right now. I mean, some days I get stressed out and I just take it, and I don't. I just don't, And I mean, it's like I've never gone through it. Some people have gone through it, and I've heard some bad stories. I've heard some good stories. I had a friend that beat leukemia a couple of years ago, and that's he's doing fine. And then I had another friend that had the same thing I got now, got treated, and got cured, and his neck was really swollen, but he beat it, and then 10 years later he got it again, and he just said, I've lived a long life, and I'm 68 years old, and he said, I'm just not going to get treated. He died, and
wow,
it was actually one of my connections. Yeah. So, it was, and not only he's my connection, I've known him my whole life, so he's a good friend too. But yeah, just to the last day, man, he was still slinging to the last day. And then we took him to the sister's house, and he died like 6 days later. The same thing I got. So that runs through my head a lot too.
It's 10 years from now. If you get an extra 10 years, that's a blessing. So,
and then nowadays you think about it, 10 years ain't a long time. It really isn't.
It's better than tomorrow.
Yeah, true.
So,
yeah,
you have to be thankful. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's but like I said, the lumps have gone down. I haven't. What was happening? It was choking me out because it's growing around my carotid artery, and so it was choking my blood to my brain, so it made me pass out a few times, and not like just a regular pass out, like a death pass out. You know what I mean? I woke up like I didn't know where I was at, and the pain was just like so sharp in my head. Mm-hmm. And my hearing was starting going echoey until it went out, and then everything just like closed in on me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying, and my heart would just be overworking. Boom, 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 boom. I'm out, and like my mom was there. I said, Mom, I'm fucking dying. I'm dying, Mom. I'm dying. And I'm crying, and I was like, this is it. I love you guys. I think
right. But I mean, it's cutting the blood off, and your heart's trying to pump blood into your fucking brain, and the carotid artery is being choked off. So
I am just panicked. I mean, I can't even. And then when I don't really pass out all the way, but when I wake up, I'm like, and my mom said I was just staring there for like 5 minutes, and then she's like, taught me how. And then I'm thinking of one little thing. I think it'd be something stupid, and that's like the only thing that was keeping me alive. It was really weird. And I'm like, oh. I said, how long was I out? She goes, well, you weren't. And she said, you're just staring at him saying weird stuff. I said, oh, okay. I said, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I got up to the bathroom and shut the door and passed out again. And I hit my chest right on the corner of the counter in there. Oh, yeah. And so, she came in there and I had my pants down. I had to go number 2. So I was like, that was a big mess right there. And then the toilet backed up and oh my God, it was just terrible, terrible night for me. And luckily my nephew lives right up the street and he came and helped clean her up. But I passed out 8 times already since this all happened, uncontrollably.
Right. But now you're fine. You're not passing
ever
out
since
now.
the first chemo, not once.
Yeah, because it shrank and it's shrinking and you're doing well. So
yeah. So I'm very grateful for that, man. And my mom, bless her heart, man. You know what I mean? She's a trooper. You know what I mean? She's a trooper, Is your mom still around? Yeah, yeah.
No, she passed away about 2.5, 3 years ago.
Okay. I remember hearing some of the
almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man.
It's okay.
Mom's well, how important moms are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bless their hearts. But yeah, man, it's one for her. I probably would have been, because look, when I first got this, the county here, I was going to go through the county for the chemotherapy, and they weren't going to start treating me till January 11th or something like that. I'm like, well, I'll be dead by then, And then I went to another hospital, Loma Linda, which is like one of the best in the nation, and they said they couldn't do nothing till I think it was December 27th. It seemed like the number was. And then, so now I'm going to City of Hope. I don't know if you heard of them, but they took me in right away. Right away to get me chemo. Well, not right away. I went there a couple times, took a couple tests, a couple x-rays. And I said, look, I said, this is going to kill me, man. I said, you guys got to do something. And they said, okay, well, we'll get you some chemo tomorrow. Because they scheduled me for chemo for like a week from that day. I said, no, I need something today. You don't understand. I need something. I just passed out 3 times yesterday, and they were different than the other ones. They were like more choky, and I'm afraid if this happens again, I'm not going to pull through. I don't want to be a vegetable.
Right.
That's the last thing I want. I'd rather be dead. And so I said, we'll get you in tomorrow. The next after that, it's all good. All good. Now I just got to work on my license because that's the first chance I get, Matt. I'm getting in a truck. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm getting a truck because I've never stayed in one spot for 3 months ever in the last 16 years. I'm never home. Never home. I'm always traveling. I'm usually only home for 3 days to 7 days out of the month. So, and for a long time, I didn't even have a home. What for? Why did I want to pay rent? I just live in the truck. I stayed in a motel and until I got back with my girlfriend that I was with a long time ago. We've been together 4 years. And so I moved her out here from Ohio. She lived out in California for a while. And then she moved out there. And, she just had to come back here. You know what I mean? It was just better for her. And so bless her heart, she's plus I needed someone to water the plants at home while it's gone.
Yeah, it sounds like the bar is low. It's not none of these other things. It's just if I could just find somebody to water the plants. Well,
it's hard to find someone to water the plants. So it works out perfect. She keeps the house clean. No, she does a lot more for me. I love her to death. She knows it. She'll probably watch us and say, what do you mean by that? I love you, babe. Don't worry.
Well,
anyway. But yeah, I'll keep in touch with you, Matt. And like I said, I appreciate everything, man, that you took out time. I've been wanting to rap with you for a minute.
All right. Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified of videos just like this. Also, please consider joining my Patreon. I really do appreciate it. Leave me a comment in the comment section. And thank you. If you like the video, please share it.
Hey, this is Matt Cox. I'm doing a credit course. I'm doing the course because I feel like I have a lot of knowledge on the subject of repairing and building credit profiles and fixing people's credit. I've helped a ton of people do that. I've helped them build their credit, and I owned a financial company. I've seen how things work on the inside. I've spoken with underwriters. I've known the owners of lending institutions, And obviously I've built, well over probably somewhere between 50 and 100 credit profiles. I have a vast amount of experience, and I think I can help people with their credit. It's a problem a lot of people don't even understand. So go to the description box, click the link, put your email address in, and I'm going to send you 2 free letters that are they're templates that help request information on your collections and dispute those collections on your credit report. These are letters that I've used over and over again. They work 95% of the time. Now, nothing's 100%. Sometimes you're just going to get that collection company that's just going to come after you no matter what. But we will get in the course, we get into what to do if that's the case. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and, the other thing that putting in your email address, it will notify you of the course. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and talk about leveraging your credit, which is one of the things I'm going to talk about in the course. So if you get the course, you'll hear this. You'll hear much, much more on how to leverage your credit. And so this is really one of the reasons you want good credit. And I'll give you an example of that I've done before that basically hopefully makes it clear. So at one point I would survey guys, and I would steal their identity. Clearly illegal. I'm not suggesting you do that. But this will let you know just how easy this was. And I've done this over and over again. So this was a homeless guy that one time I surveyed him. I got his credit information. I then went and ordered all of his information. I ordered his birth certificate, social security card. I ordered his high school transcripts. He has no idea that he gave me enough information. He thought he was filling out a form to determine where the Salvation Army was going to place its next homeless facility. So he filled out the form. I gave him $20. I ordered all of his documents. I got all the documents in. I registered to vote in his name. So I have a ton of legitimate documents that were issued to him. I then turned around and manufactured a birth certificate for a 10-month-old child. I manufactured a shot record. I went into Social Security, told them that my son had been born and never issued a Social Security number. Now, I said my son's name was the same name as the homeless guy that I had surveyed, and his name was actually Joseph Carter. So they issued me a Social Security number to Joseph Carter. So now I have a ton of information in the name of Joseph Carter and a new Social Security number. So I used that Social Security number and his documents to obtain a driver's license. I then went ahead and I pulled his credit. He has no credit in the Social Security number that I have, and I'm sure his credit, his real Social Security number probably had bad credit. Regardless, I created a new credit profile as Joseph Carter. I then turned around and I got 3 secured credit cards in the name of Joseph Carter. Now, this is someone who has no credit. Once I got those secured credit cards in, I put a little bit of money, and these are very small. These are $300, $500 credit cards. But they show up on his credit profile now. I make the payments on those credit cards for the next 6 months. So 6 months later, so now I've got a credit profile with 3 trade lines, credit cards, on the profile. 6 months later, I pulled his credit, and it had like a 730, 750 credit score, something along those lines. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was high. And it was so high. And because I had answered all the questions correctly to acquire these secured credit cards, I had built the profile so solidly that 6 months later, when he had the 730 or 750 credit scores, I walked into a Ford dealership. I'll never forget. I walked in with a girl I was dating. We were driving to the movies, and I said, "Hey, listen, let's pull in. I need to get a car, like a new car actually, because I had a vehicle." And I said, "I need to pull in. I need to get a new car." So I pulled in. There was a couple of salespeople. One guy stood up and I said, "Hey man, you want to sell a car real quick?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Listen, I want to buy a truck." So we walked down the lot. I found I want to say it was an F-150 4x4. I want to say it was called a Laredo, or I'm not sure what the style was, but it was a crew cab, nice. It was around $55,000. We drove the vehicle right down the street. He wanted to take me on a whole driving around the city type thing. I said, no, bro, I'm good. We drove down the street, turned around, came back, didn't even go, it wasn't even a half a mile. Pulled back in, I said, "Let me fill out the paperwork." I filled out the paperwork, gave him the name, date of birth, social security number, told him that I'd been on the job 5 years, whatever the case may be, that I had set up. Had a pay stub with me, gave him the pay stub, and told him we were going to the movies. If he could get me financed within the next 2 hours, I said, "I'll come back and pick up the car or the truck." And he said, "All right." I went to the movies, and just as the movie was ending, my cell phone rang, and he said, "Come pick up your truck." I drove straight back there with the girl I was dating, walked in, filled out the paperwork, didn't put one dime down, and financed that vehicle. Now, here's the funny thing about financing that vehicle. The payment was like $1,200 a month. I made one payment and refinanced with State Farm Insurance's bank. The State Farm is an insurance company. I actually got my insurance through State Farm. But they also, because I had insurance through them on the vehicle, a month later, they offered to refinance the truck. My original interest rate was like 24% interest. It was outrageous. They brought it down to like 8% interest. So my payment went from $1,200 down to around $700 or $800 on that vehicle. I didn't put a dime down, not a dime. That whole transaction took less than 2 hours. And all I did was I leveraged a 750 credit score to get myself into a new truck. And listen, over the next 6 months to a year, I got multiple credit cards in Joseph Carter's name with $20,000, $30,000 credit limits. I got personal loans in his name. And, on a side note that I won't be getting into, I borrowed a couple $1 million in his name on mortgages, which we're not going to be discussing. But I was able to leverage, in 6 months, I was able to leverage that credit that I had put together to borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars with nothing down other than putting up the minor deposits to get the secured credit cards and knowing how to answer the questions that were being asked by the lenders. And that's really all it is. It's a very simple formula, and I'm going to go over all of that in the credit course. So click the link, put in your email address.